All right, welcome back in. 6:19. Happy Hump Day, everybody. I believe we are live.
Good morning, YouTube.
We're back on
Hi,
YouTube.
Sorry, I don't know what happened this morning.
Look, it is what it is, right? But it's up and running now. People were curious. We always get questions. But I know that's not for everybody. Not everybody listens and watches on YouTube. But if you do, we're up and running now. So the show is live, and you can go check out my sweet Matt Williams Giants jersey. As I
I had to remember who was wearing number 9.
It's a throwback.
I thought it was grandson Yaz. He might have worn 9. But...
Yaz was 5, I think.
Oh, okay.
Brandon Belt was the last 9 that I remember. The most recent. I've never bought
that didn't work out so well for you.
He won 3 World Series rings. What the hell are you talking about?
Brandon Belt?
Brandon Belt was their starting first baseman for 2 of the 3 World Championships.
Who am I thinking of?
He was pretty good.
Who was supposed to be the
he wasn't like an all-star, but he was
catcher after Posey.
Oh, yeah. We've had a few. Yeah, some prospects don't work out. Brandon Belt was he was their big first baseman on the second 2 championship teams. Lots to get to in the show today. Let's jump into the National Football League because it never stops. It
doesn't. We got the proposed rule changes that they'll discuss at the next meetings.
Let's start with the controversy that came out yesterday.
Oh.
Have you ever bit somebody, Jason Swigard?
I have not gone Marv Albert on anybody.
Okay, has anybody ever bit you? Are you into biting? People biting you? Is that your thing? That's not your kink?
Had a German Shepherd once bit me after it took. We were out playing Nerf football in the street. And the house behind us that I grew up in had this big, nasty German Shepherd. It got out.
Oh, that's terrifying.
So it kind of trotted into the street, picked up the Nerf football right off the tee, and took off. I was like 9.
Nah, I'm not messing with that.
So we went around, and it was sitting there on its front porch with the football like over here, and I thought I'd go. Yeah, that was
you went Sandlot on him? You thought you could run in and grab the ball and get out of there? You didn't quite make it.
Yeah, I ended up with a tetanus shot after that.
Did you have your PF flyers on?
I did not.
No, that's what you needed. You're missing.
When I found out I wasn't fast.
You needed your PF flyers to get out of there.
That's the only time I've been bitten.
There was a random story in the NFL, not random, but there was a random team involved in a trade discussion like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I remember talking about it. And it was that the A.J. Brown has not been dealt yet from Philly.
Yes.
But somebody went through, it might have been Diana Rossini, and she had a thing saying there's 2 teams that are interested in him and aggressively working to trade for him, and those 2 teams are the New England Patriots, who made a lot of sense.
That made sense.
The relationship with Vrabel and all that. And the other one was Puka Nacua, was the L.A. Rams.
Yeah.
And I remember reading that at the time being like, God,
how's that going to work?
I get that the Rams are aggressive. I get that the Rams do the F them picks thing. So you got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, and now you're going to add A.J. Brown? That's a lot of mouths
because they don't have a salary cap in L.A.
No, they do not.
Does not apply to the Rams.
And I just remember being surprised by that. And the news came out yesterday, and I thought, makes a little more sense because somebody's up for a contract extension this offseason.
Yes.
And the Seahawks just signed JSN to a record-breaking deal, and everybody thought,
reset the market.
Man, LA's going to have to do that for Puka Nacua, who's a monster. We all know his abilities on the field. He's a stud.
They may not go 4 years.
Not anymore, because he's already been in trouble a few times. Now, we can grade the level and degree of trouble. He was on a live stream and did some comments and dance.
There's some disagreement over the validity of these claims.
So, yes, there is, as there always is in claims like this. So the claim is that Puka Nacua, now this happened a long time. This was in the season. This wasn't like last weekend it happened and charges were just filed. This was, I want to say, somewhere around week 11 or week 12. Yeah. Like the season was still in the heat of the season.
Now coming to light.
And now it's coming to light. He has been accused of biting a woman and while doing it, making anti-Semitic remarks. This is back in December. Now, the response from the Nacua camp has been, yeah, he bit her, but it was horseplay and no anti-Semitic comments were made. This is a shakedown. The lady side has released a picture of some item of clothing. It's hard to tell exactly where it is, of it like literally bite marks in the clothes. And so Nakua's lawyer has acknowledged that they were just horsing around and he bit her, and that part of the story is true, but don't believe the rest of the story.
Well, and I thought I read that there was paperwork filed for a restraining order or something, and it was denied.
Okay, so that might have been another step where it was denied. I don't know where this is going to go legally. I don't know if this was a Rams move to plant this story and say, hey, this is going to save us a little bit of money in contract negotiations. You've been a bit of a loose squirrel, if you will, off the field. We're not quite sure where your head's at and where you're going, and maybe we can save ourselves a couple $1 million because you're in a bit of trouble right now. I don't know where all of it came from. I don't know where it's going to go. It's just sometimes in sports, like I got something in the notes. We're probably not going to talk about it today. It might be saved till closer to the end of closer to draft time. But Darren Peterson from Kansas came out and did an interview talking about being in and out of the lineup and, what was going through his head. And he said he was dealing with some mental health stuff and his head wasn't always there. He didn't feel right until late in the season. And we're always acknowledging that mental health is a very real thing, but it's also sometimes where there's smoke, there is fire. And if you ignore the smoke, it's only going to end up biting you. And there's a bit of that vibe around Puka Nacua right now in L.A. Like, nobody questions his ability. Nobody questions his talent. You can make an argument he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. The numbers are absolutely insane that he's putting up year in and year out. He's playing with a Hall of Fame quarterback, so that certainly helps. But he's an absolute stud on the field. When incidents start to pile up and some of them are in the same camp. Now, again, we got to get through the investigation part of this, and we got to get both sides, and you're innocent until proven guilty. He's acknowledged biting, but denying all the other parts of the story. It's just like another headache that you have to deal with. And how many are you willing to deal with? Like, it's that scale that the guy did on crazy women and the hotness. And, like, at what point do you hit the tipping point of, okay, yeah, she's hot, but she's too far down the crazy scale that I don't want anything to do with that. That's the Puka Nacua scale. Like, he's got issues, and the guy's got some screws loose, but he's incredibly talented. And how long are you willing?
NFL wide receiver hot mess.
How long are you willing to put up with that until it reaches a breaking point? So I don't know where this is going to go in the offseason. I just saw that yesterday, and I thought, oh, God, here we go again. Puka Nacua, anti-Semitic remarks. Remember, the last time he got in trouble was he was on, I don't do the YouTube live stream stuff, so I'm not aware of any of that world, but he was on somebody's YouTube live stream, and they had him do a mock touchdown dance that he claimed he didn't know what it meant, but it was some sort of anti-Semitic move.
Well,
and he did it, and he laughed, and he's doing it on the YouTube stream. And then afterwards, he said, well, I had no clue that that's what that was, and I apologize. And he totally backed off of it, and then his name kind of disappeared from being in trouble for a while. But he's just a unique cat, and I don't know how long LA is going to be willing to put up with this stuff off the field. We'll wait and see where this story goes. But not a great look when you're going into a contract offseason and you were thinking to yourself, I'm about to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Now, he still might if these charges go away and nothing happens out of it.
Yeah.
But I do think if you're in LA and you're the GM, you're like,
sports agents don't sleep.
No, there's no resting. Unless you're who is the most perfect guy to ever rep? Like, there's a handful of them who are just stand-up class citizens who are never going to get in trouble. Like Kirk Cousins. If you're Kirk Cousins' agent, you're sleeping at night. That guy's going to Kohl's. He's doing podcast interviews.
Yes.
He's in the business Hall of Fame of the NFL, getting guaranteed contracts.
But you're still worried about,
There's a few.
You want to say Mahomes, but then you got to worry about his wife and his brother.
His wife and his brother. And his dad. His dad's got multiple DUIs.
Stupid.
His dad's always in trouble. There's always something going on there. So not everybody's perfect, but that is the latest out of LA. We'll see how it works in the offseason. Joe Flacco quickly signed an extension. 41 years old, man.
Stay with Cincinnati.
Good for him.
They need a little insurance. If Burrow's out there playing flag football, who knows what he's going to do.
What happened to Jake Browning? Is he out? Is he gone?
They were not impressed with Jake Browning.
Jake Browning's done. The run of Jake Browning as an NFL quarterback is over.
Might be.
Okay. People don't forget the point, Jake.
But I saw Trevor Seaman is still around somewhere, so never say never.
Never say never. 41 years old. That's pretty cool. He's not going to start, although Joe Burrow has a tendency to get hurt. And so maybe at some point we see him.
They need an insurance policy.
And he's played well. Like, whenever he's come in and every spot he's been in, he's been pretty decent.
The thing last year, what do you have? Like, what do they say? 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, nearly 1,800 yards in in the games he played in.
Yeah, it ended up being 15-10. That's still top 25 in touchdown passes. 13-4. No, you are right. 15-10 total.
Oh, okay.
For the season. 13-4 was in Cincinnati. He threw 2 touchdowns and 6 picks in Cleveland. I remember they got rid of him. And then it was
But the Cincinnati, he played well because he had guys who could catch the football.
Yes, he did. Their offense was fine. So there's your news out of the NFL this morning. The sport that never sleeps. It always is in our lives.
And they did submit. We saw the submissions for proposed rule changes.
Yes.
What is not in there this year is a proposed rule change to eliminate the tush push.
No, we knew that. We assumed that wasn't going to happen.
Right.
I remember we talked about some of the numbers going down on that, and it likely wasn't going to be proposed.
What is there is a whole bunch of stuff for sky judges to step in if we have replacement refs.
I love having to read through, too, the propose of, like, should we change the landing zone of the kickoff? Should we change the incentive of Can we just kick the ball off and play football?
There you go.
Can we just...
Yeah.
Bring it back, man. I digress. Let's get to somebody getting canned. And can this program go big game hunting still? And if they do, what are the ripple effects of it? We'll dive into that coming up next. But first, your Swag with Sports Center.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Brought to you by Big's Chicken. Try their smoked and fried wings, tossed with a perfect dry rub, served with a trio of killer sauces. Menus at bigschicken.com. First on the Fan. Blazers trying to take advantage of another NBA bottom feeder this evening. The Milwaukee Bucks roll into Moda Center, 7 o'clock tip on KUNP Xfinity Channel 1016. Portland starts the night a half game behind the Clippers for 8th in a West, and they are 12.5-point favorites. To the college ranks, North Carolina firing Hubert Davis Tuesday evening after a second consecutive first-round exit from the NCAA tournament. The search will go outside the Tar Heel family to find their next head coach. Opening night for Major League Baseball. It'll happen by the Bay. The Giants host the Yankees on Netflix. 5:05 first pitch. Max Fried, Logan Webb, your scheduled starters. After a 6-0 shutout Tuesday night, the 20th-ranked Oregon Ducks baseball squad goes for a 2-game sweep of the UC San Diego Tritons. First pitch 3:05 this afternoon. Pre-game coverage starts at 2:45 on 910 ESPN Portland. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of dirt.
All right, we already have 2 submissions for Sprague's divisional picks in baseball.
All right.
He's going to take the Pirates in the NL Central.
Why wouldn't he? He's a big Paul Skeens fan.
Huge Paul Skeens guy. And people making him take the Yankees in the AL East because how much he hates the Yankees. So we got 2 picks in him. Whatever team shows up from whatever division first, that's the one he will pick to win that division. We'll see how long we can keep this ruse alive. A move happened yesterday that we all knew was going to happen. I don't know why the hell it took 3 days to get there. It's like, what?
Well, they were trying to appeal to his Carolina Blue Argyle history to.
Well, they want him to walk away on his own? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
they wanted him
or maybe
to announce
they were
he was
looking to
leaving?
reassign him within, something in the administration to still be there, but he still wants to coach.
He still wants to go.
He still plans to coach somewhere else. We'll
somebody will
see
give
what
him a
happens.
job. Somebody will hire him. Hubert Davis was fired yesterday in North
Yes.
Carolina. They blew the largest opening round tournament lead in the history of the NCAA tournament.
19-point lead to 11th seed VCU.
VCU came back and knocked him off. In the moment it happened, we all kind of thought, all right, he was a bit of a dead man walking to begin, and this is North Carolina, and we got higher standards than that. Probably not going to end well for him.
Yeah.
Then on Monday, they postponed his, he has a Monday coaches show that he does.
Yeah.
And they just said, that's not going to happen tonight. And everybody's like, oh, all right, so you're definitely firing him. And then we waited around 2 more days for them to actually fire him. And it is interesting. So they've already called, as you do, you got to make everybody say no, right? Like in college football, is this like the Urban Meyer equivalent? The first call they made was to Brad Stevens. And Brad Stevens said,
thanks, but no thanks.
No, thank you.
I appreciate you thinking
I don't want to coach anymore. I'm happy.
It's an honor to even be considered in the likes of Dean Smith and Roy Williams, but I'm good.
I'm the GM of the Boston Celtics. I'm doing just fine, okay? I could go coach in the NBA if I wanted to.
Probably asked him for any recommendations, too. That was the second question. It's like, all right, who knows what they're doing and can get us back to hanging banners.
This is it's a big deal in college basketball because...
Look, there's a guy that's obvious, and he's in the NBA right now, and he seems like he's in NBA coaching purgatory, but the
Billy Donovan's her guy?
Yes.
Yeah, go get Billy Donovan. How long has Billy Donovan been in the NBA now?
He was with the Thunder and then the Bulls. It's quite a while.
We're going on over a decade, I think, right? At least
he's got to be close to 15 years of NBA head coaching experience. Maybe I'm overstating it.
He took over at Florida in 96-97. He was there until 2015. So, yeah, about just over a decade.
Yeah.
He was in Oklahoma City from 15 to 20 and then got turfed and then hired immediately in Chicago. And he has been there since 2020. That's an interesting sidebar of where does that rank Billy Donovan on longest tenured NBA coaches right now? Because how many guys have been coaches for longer? Spo's been there forever. We know that. Steve Kerr's been there forever.
Kerr's been there.
The other easy examples we're missing are guys who've been around a long time. I mean, Chauncey was hired in the same cycle, I think, and now he's,
I'm trying to think who's
awaiting
been
a trial.
Places for a while.
That's just weird to think about. We do that in like football from time to time when you're like, he got hired 16 months ago and he's now the longest tenured coach in the division.
Exactly.
That Billy Donovan, he's been in the playoffs one time and they lost in the first round, but he's still somehow the coach of the Chicago Bulls.
He's got to be top 10.
Yeah, I mean,
easily top 10.
Has to be because 6 years is a pretty long time in the NBA. I would call Billy Donovan. I mean, they're going to go big game hunt. Tommy Lloyd's on their list. Would you leave Arizona to go coach North Carolina?
I don't think I would.
He's got a great thing going.
He's got a great thing. He's in
making a ton of money.
Great basketball conference.
Yes, they care about basketball there. It's not like you're at a place like that doesn't get involved in it.
They're super invested. He doesn't need to go anywhere. Now, he might talk to him to see if he can get a little extension and a few more bucks out of the deal.
Shake the tree a little bit.
Go.
You might as well. I've seen May at Michigan mentioned. I wouldn't leave
Michigan. Call Mark Few.
Mark Few? You think now's the time he might have a wandering eye at the end of his career to go get one more run at it to win a national title?
Yeah, maybe.
Funding is there. Conference affiliation is there.
If Few's got everything put in place, the only thing is they're going into a new conference. But if he's got everything in place and they've already tabbed somebody, if it's Michelson or somebody to be the heir apparent,
right?
Which is how Gonzaga probably would do it. I could see him for the last,
I got 5 more years left in me. Let's go see if we can do something special in North Carolina.
Is this new conference going to get me the ability to win the national title, which is the only thing I haven't done in my career? Or I can go to Carolina and get, 4 McDonald's All-Americans.
Right out of the gate.
not only get my national title, but bring Carolina back to prominence and then see ya.
Not a bad way to end your career.
Not a bad way to go out.
I also don't know what their NIL situation is behind closed doors. Like, do they feel like they can financially compete with like Duke, Michigan, Arizona, fill in the blank? I know they got money to spend, and it's not like they're broke.
Now, it's funny because I think for North Carolina, like, I don't think you have to go overspend as long as you're enough. Like, hey,
it's North Carolina. Yeah,
we got $2 million for you. If it's all about getting 5, sorry, but if they're paying 5 guys $1 million to $2 million per, and the lure of Carolina is there.
I mean, somebody's going to jump at that job because it's such it's such an iconic program.
It's not like they can't go raise some money if they need to.
The fear is also, I think, that their athletic department is not in the best of standings right now. I mean, the last time they had to hire a coach, it was in football, and
that didn't go so well.
That's not going so well right now. So, look, you never know where it's going to go in the future, but as of right now, not looking great, and it's a total distraction and sidecar show, and it was horrible on the field last year, and he's going to get fired, would be my guess. I just don't know when it's going to happen in Bill Belichick in North Carolina. And that was a move where there was a huge disagreement internally from those on the booster side and the athletic side and the administration side. They wanted a big name and a big splash, and a lot of big donors wanted that to happen. When a lot of the athletic department people were like, I don't know how this is going to work.
Well,
Let's go get
I think it's also different. How desirable was the North Carolina football job?
Not the same as basketball. Not the same as basketball.
Like, everybody's going to take your call and listen to you.
It's a big deal for the conference, too, because we talked about this on Monday out of the opening weekend.
Yeah, the ACC stunk it
up. They got
up.
one team left in the Sweet
Duke.
16. That's it. And Duke's not going anywhere. Duke's going to be a powerhouse every year. Shire has taken over for Coach K, and it has not missed a beat. And I don't know if they win a title. He's been great, and he's got the number 1 recruiting class every year. He's bringing they're going to be totally fine. It's the rest of the conference that is completely lagging behind. When you look at the Big Ten and you look at what the Big 12 have done, I know the Big East, we can debate. It's not the same that it used to be.
Too.
And the SEC, who was dominant last year and won a national title, like the ACC is slowly slipping down that pecking order because a lot of their programs who have been good for a long time, North Carolina has slipped.
Their overall TV contract doesn't generate the big numbers that the Big Ten and the SEC do.
Nope. Virginia's a good program, but they've refound their setting or their footing, if you will.
And
they got bounced
they're
early.
Trying to maneuver everything around football-wise to keep Florida State and other people happy from trying to sue the conference to get out, how many more resources have to be directed to football that's not coming to basketball?
Right.
And if the pool's smaller and the larger piece of the pie is going to football, what's left, as opposed to even in the Big Ten and the SEC, there's so much money they're rolling in, even the trickle down.
Yes, every program's bringing it in.
Every program's getting better.
And it gives you a ton of money to spend on staffing and player retention and recruitment and all of that.
Facilities,
and it's a different
support.
ballgame. But I think North Carolina and Duke are the two that should be able to override that because of their history and their rich
I would think North Carolina's got
base.
specific boosters just to the basketball program that if you went to and said, hey,
Michael Jordan, can we get $10 million for our roster?
This is what we want to do. And if they're behind it, is like, okay, what do you need to close the deal? Okay, here's a little extra to get it done.
The interesting part about it, too, and last note on this, and then we'll go to a news update from a story yesterday, but I bring this up all the time in football, and I'm not scared of this because we're going to have a totally different conversation about my basketball program coming up at the top of the hour. Things aren't going great for those who have not been paying attention.
It's at a crossroads.
We've got a bit of an issue on our hands. So I don't have this fear, but the scary part about it for basketball fans out there, and I remember bringing this up, and then it hit one of our Northwest schools. When you get a big-time program like this that opens up, and they might not be the only one. We still don't know what Kansas is Bill Self going to stick around?
That's more on Bill Self.
Yes, they're not going to fire him, but is he going to say, you know what, health-wise, I'm just kind of done, and if he does, you get those two jobs open in the same cycle?
Exactly.
It's massive. Somebody's going to get hired. Some big fish is going to chase that job. And then you're going to have that domino effect. Like last year in the coaching cycle in football, I remember bringing this up of like, just be careful what you say and what you wish for because you never know when it hits you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, late in the cycle, Matt Campbell takes the Penn State job.
Yep.
Iowa State is open, and Washington State just standing over here innocently in the corner, a bystander to all of this. Hey, we had a pretty good year under Jimmy Rogers year one. Just like that, you lose your
So
coach.
now you're on your third head coach in
3 years.
Fourth head coach in 4 years. I don't know when.
You're starting completely over. Yeah, it was Dickert and then Jimmy Rogers, and now I can't even remember who the hell they hired, whoever they went and got.
We had the Rolovich mess.
Yeah, it's just so you never know when that domino and pendulum's going to swing and hit you. That's the scary thing if you like your coach that, oh, God, North Carolina comes calling. They're going to say yes
Now, if North
to
Carolina does get Billy Donovan, there's no domino effect.
Very
anywhere.
true. If that's the move, he might get fired in Chicago anyways. And he's a great college coach historically. Maybe that's enough to make the boosters happy. We'll wait and see. I mean, it's a big deal because of what North Carolina's standing is in college hoops. We don't talk about every coach that gets fired. Like the St. Mary's guy took the Arizona State job, and that's a move that's interesting. And we'll see how it works tournament. Like North Carolina's different.
That's a bigger statement of the fear that the West Coast Conference
is going to
becomes the big sky.
Yes, without Gonzaga.
Without Gonzaga, Oregon State, and Washington State.
Exactly. Yeah. So Hubert Davis out at North Carolina. We'll see where they go, and hopefully the pendulum does not swing to your school if you want to hold on to your coach. We'll get back into college basketball throughout the show today. We'll go to Omaha, or Houston technically, at 9 a.m. Our buddy Josh Peterson is down there getting ready for Nebraska to play a Sweet 16 game, so that's at 9 a.m. And we'll talk about the Ducks because they were in the news once again yesterday, and they're at a crossroads right now. So we'll talk about that coming up top of the hour. But coming up next, we covered a news story yesterday, and we now have some updates. We have some information from the police. A lot of people asking, how the hell did he do this? How did he pull this off? I have some answers for you. We'll explain it a little more in detail. That's coming up next. 105.1 FM The Fan. All right, is it time to make a move? We'll have that conversation coming up 10 minutes from now. Welcome back in, everybody. Happy hump day to you. Dirt hanging out with you. Swag hanging out with you. Sprague out all week on spring break. Did you know that baseball's back?
It is. I did know.
MLB opening night is tonight. Aaron Judge and the Yankees face Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. Yankees-Giants live on Netflix tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific. My only critique is I love me some Rafael Devers. It did not go great after he came over.
Is he really the
Logan Webb should be the guy. Yeah. Logan Webb has led the National League in innings pitched 3 consecutive years. You know, last time an NL pitcher did it 4 years in a row. He has a chance to do it this year. It was not Kershaw. It was Greg Maddux.
Wow.
I want to say from I read it yesterday. It was like 91 and 95 or something like that. That's my only critique. I think it should be Aaron Judge against Logan Webb. That's that's a matchup that will happen tonight. He's pitching tonight. Baseball's back tonight on Netflix. Let's get to an update on our dear friend from the greater D.C. area. So we told you the story yesterday, and I'm sure every show around the country talked about this because it's one of those, it's like too good to be true.
Exactly.
It's like, somehow ball adjacent, and you're like, all right, that actually fits.
That can't be real.
And it was of the story of Dayton Weber, who is the amputee, no arm, no leg, professional cornhole player who allegedly murdered somebody, shooting them with a gun. Again, no arms, no legs.
Yeah, in a car, driving down a freeway.
While driving a car.
Yeah.
And then dumped the body.
Yeah.
Now we have more
witnesses in the back seat. Who bailed.
He's not getting out of this.
We're not touching that thing.
Nope. So basically, here's what police are saying. I guess they did a press conference on this yesterday.
You're going to have to.
And they were, let's try and explain this a little more detail.
Okay.
Because when it first came out, everybody had the same reaction of like, there's no way this is true. And the police were kind of like, yeah, it's true. Just we'll give you the details. Hold on.
We'll explain this to
you. But when you hear it, you're like, that's not physically possible. And videos keep coming out of this guy, by the way. He is the most disabled person I have ever seen in my life. There's videos of him not only firing guns that he puts up like on his TikTok and his YouTube or whatever. He's like climbing into a deer blind in hunting season, like up a ladder. It's insane to watch what this guy can do, and that gives you a little more context. So police said evidently Dayton Weber, the guy who was the amputee or is the amputee, he got into a heated argument while driving in his car with Bradrick Michael, who was the person who is now deceased. They got into a heated argument, yelling back and forth at each other. They did not reveal what the argument was about.
I'm sure it had to be something of...
This is that's a detail that I really want to know.
Superior import.
I really want to know what the argument was about. He was driving. So Weber is driving the car. They're having an argument. He is sitting in the passenger seat. The Wells guy is. And while they're driving, having an argument, he then essentially has a gun on him while driving. Somehow is able to pick the gun up, grab the gun, and shoot him while he's sitting next to him driving in the car. Now, to your point, he shot him twice in the head. To your point, there are witnesses. He's not getting out of this. There's two eyewitnesses
who were 2 feet from it.
Literally sitting in the back seat of the car while this happens. Yeah. And they see this guy driving, take out his gun, shoot him twice in the head. He then turns around to him. They're all supposedly friends. They all know each other. They're driving around. They're good buddies.
Of course.
So whatever argument led, whatever it was, he then turned around to the people in the back seat and said, you guys need to help me move this body out of the car.
And they said,
both of them were like, hell no, we're not doing that. And immediately opened the doors and jumped out of the car. I cannot for the life of me figure out how he got the body out of the car. He dumped it in somebody's front lawn and then drove off. And by the way, had some injury, drove himself to the hospital after dumping a body in a front yard.
Yeah.
When there were 2 eyewitnesses in the back seat, drove himself to a hospital.
Not smart, Bob.
And that's where he was ultimately arrested because he showed up in the system at a hospital and people were looking for him. I still have more follow-up questions. It's still an incomplete investigation that we need to get to the bottom of. But at least we have a little more clarity
That one
now.
we might have to hand off to Sprague next week.
Next week when these continue to trickle in.
Because I'm sure that's one that he might need to weigh in on.
Look, we are a pretty dumb society, and we continue to get dumber by the day.
Yeah.
A lot of times things pass as news coverage that's not actually news coverage, and there's certain trials. What was the last trial that kind of took over the dialogue of the country? Like the Murdaugh guy down in South Carolina, he killed his family or his kids or whatever, and then that became a big documentary. And
I don't remember.
I got roped up into that one. I know not everybody did, but they actually ended up making a TV show out of it, which is like Way too soon. You got to let that thing breathe for a little bit. And we already got the documentary, which is going to be better than the TV show because there's people that are interviewing in there that knew them personally. This is a trial that I would watch every second
This
of.
needs to be on Court
This
TV.
needs to be put this thing on CNN. What the hell is CNN doing? Probably nothing of importance. Put this thing on CNN, and I would watch wall-to-wall coverage of it. There's some more details on our armless, legless,
well, it's all about
professional
the two
cornhole player
eyewitnesses.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much of a trial. Yeah.
And then the defendant, if they're dumb enough to put him on the stand, and what's he going
to say? I didn't do it?
It's self-defense?
I mean, I'm sure that'll be his
That's
argument.
really the only plausible. Guy had a knife or something that he took out of his pocket.
Yeah.
That he had below the seat.
You couldn't
that
see
the two
him.
Guys in the back couldn't see.
We'll see as the world turns. We'll pass along any other further updates we get. Let's start the second hour with a difficult conversation. I have been somebody kind of riding the fence on this issue. I understand this side. I understand that side. Yesterday might have been the straw that broke my camel's back, and I'll explain what that segment is, what the reasoning is for a change of course, and is it time? Hard questions are ahead. We'll talk about them next. We'll get to the Jailblazer documentary trailer getting released in this hour as well. It's a loaded second hour. Thanks for being with us on a Wednesday. Dirt and Sprague 105.1 FM, The Fan.
If you're
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the race for the 8th spot in the Western Conference of the NBA heating up here at Moda Center. The Blazers welcome the Milwaukee Bucks in for a 7 o'clock tip. You can see it on KUNP Xfinity Channel 1016. Portland a half game behind the Clips for number 8. They're 12.5-point favorites. From the college ranks, North Carolina firing Hubert Davis Tuesday evening after a second consecutive first-round exit from the NCAA tournament. And the search headed outside the Tar Heel family to find their next head coach. Major League Baseball's opening night has a single game for you. It is on Netflix. The San Francisco Giants hosting the New York Yankees. 5:05 first pitch, Max Fried, Logan Webb, your scheduled starters. Thorns are looking for their first road win of the season in San Diego to battle the Wave. Kickoff at 7:07 p.m. You can hear this game over on our sister station, 94.7 KRNK HD Channel 2. Our pregame coverage will start at 6:45. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the Fan Happy Hour.
Hey, welcome back in. Hour number 2, during Sprague here, Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 FM, The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube.
There's no turds here.
No, there's not, Dan. We're having a great time today.
We are.
We're blowing and going.
All of a sudden, we're a baseball state.
It's baseball back, baby. Dude, our baseball teams are killing it. I saw the Beavs smoked USC yesterday.
Hammered USC. The
Who did
Ducks
Oregon
got
play?
a one-hitter. The Tritons of UC San Diego, 6-0 shutout.
Is UC San Diego any good?
They're not bad.
Not
They're one of
bad?
the better
Okay.
UC schools down there in Southern California.
Okay. The only highlight I've seen from my baseball program recently was they were at Purdue a week or two ago.
Yes.
And they hit a home run. I don't think Purdue's very good at baseball, but I don't know that. And they hit a home run, and their bullpen catcher, who became a bit of an online hero for a day.
Oh, for the Ducks?
For the Ducks, the bullpen's outside of right field, hit a bomb into the bullpen.
Yes.
And the bullpen catcher saw it coming, stood up, and walked up to it like Happy Gilmore in the batting cage and just wore it in the chest.
Oh, there you
just
go.
Boom. And then started celebrating.
Did he have his catcher's gear on?
No gear on.
Oh.
He just took one to the chest.
Oh, so we got one of those.
We got a psycho out there, and I'm
There you
all
go.
for it. You gotta have if you're a bullpen
Is
catcher.
that the next Bryce Betcher? He's going to all of a sudden show up as free safety
I don't know if he actually
linebacker?
plays. I think he's just a bullpen catcher,
Okay.
but I don't know. If that's a job that you want, you got some screws loose. You got some issues because being a catcher is brutal.
Some say being the bullpen catcher is one of the greatest gigs in all of sports.
I would tell all of the people who have said that they've never caught before.
That's true.
You ever got down and caught? You ever squatted down? I think your knees are feeling. You,
No, I
you
know.
blocking balls in the dirt.
It's like the emergency goaltender in the NHL.
That's a little bit less stressful because you're just sitting. You're not warming guys up. You got
Yeah,
your
but-
warm up before the game.
But
You
the
take some
bullpen
shots.
catcher is never going in the game.
You're never going in the game. Emergency
emergency
goalie might go in the
goalie
game.
every once in a blue moon is
Yes.
forced into action.
When I played high school, I was a catcher in high school, and we used to, in the gym, they would essentially, as a part of our winter getting ready for the start
Right.
of the season to ramp things up, they would just turn on a pitching machine at me going about 85, 90 miles an
There you
hour as
go.
fast as it could
And
go.
skip them right in front
And
of you.
literally point it 6 to 8 inches in front of me,
Yeah.
and you would just sit there for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Taking them like Dorn at third base.
That was my practice.
There
That was
you go.
practice. It's not that fun. But it is fun to be involved in every play when you're catching in a game. It would be a dream job for anybody who's caught before, but I do chuckle at that notion of that'd be fun. Yeah, dude, until you wear a 93-mile-an-hour slider off your wrist and you got a welt on there for a week and a half. Have fun with that one. We got a lot to get to in this hour of radio. The Jailblazer documentary trailer is out, so we'll play that for you coming up if you didn't see it yesterday. And I have a bit of a concern. I think this will be an interesting conversation because we're in different generations of Blazer fans, and I'm curious where you're at on it and where the listeners are at on it. And I think they're going to miss a mark for my generation of fans. So we'll explain that. We'll get to that coming up at the bottom of the hour. I have not been following Oregon basketball that closely. They were terrible this year. The football team won more games than them, which is never a good thing because you play far more games in college basketball.
There were some things within their control and other things without.
Injuries piled up.
Plagued them.
Yes, they did. They also whiffed on basically everybody in the
transfer portal guys.
Every single guy that they got. The one saving grace, because we've had this conversation back and forth now, it feels like for months, because the writing was on the wall pretty early in Oregon season of this might be a bad year. And then it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it was this debate of, okay, Dana Altman's been the best coach in the history of your program, consistently winning 20 games every year he has been there. This is the first time there's a blip on the radar. How do you react to that? Is that all right, one bad year, you're done? Is that all right, we got to give him a little more grace? And I have stood simultaneously on both sides because I see both arguments and I think they're both valid.
This is the worst place to be. Is Dana Altman part of the problem?
Or is he part of the solution?
Or can Dana Altman be part of the solution?
And I would argue the news
that has come out. I don't think he's necessarily part of the problem. Dude can coach like nobody's business.
Yes.
But
decisions he's making is leading to him being a part of the problem, like not having a general manager.
That's the question.
Because when you're relying in college basketball, like there was a graphic that went out, I was going to save it for tomorrow, so I won't get through all of it right now. But every year when the Sweet 16 comes around, there's a graphic that gets released of the starting five of every team and the original college that they played at. There is one team in the Sweet 16 that has all five players that started at their program.
Heard Patrick going through this,
and it's Michigan State is the only one. You can't even tell what team Michigan is.
Yeah.
That's how much they've used the portal. So you have to be able to identify guys, land guys, and bring in talent. And Oregon whiffed completely on that last year. Yeah. None of their guys that they brought in ended up being difference-making players, and they tried to rely on their three homegrown prospects of Kwame Evans, Nate Biddle, and Jackson Shellstad. Well, two of them ended up getting hurt and were in and out of the lineup the entire year. Evans was fine, but he's not a driving force of a basketball team. He could be a good third fiddle, but he's not a number one or number two guy. So yesterday, or 2 days ago, the news comes out, Kwame Evans is entering the transfer portal.
He's entering the transfer portal. He's also going to test the NBA draft waters.
Sure, we'll see. Maybe he makes that move.
He's trying to figure out, and you understand that.
I totally get it. And either way, the reality was, all right, that sucks to lose, but at least the best player on the team is still there, and that's a good piece that you can build around going into next season.
Biddle's out of eligibility.
He was in college for 15 years, it felt like, and thank you for your services.
Probably be a second-round pick, and we'll see if he can be a backup big in the NBA.
And this has been rumbling under the surface for a long time now. People around the program, it's been speculated. There's been whispers in the wind, if you will, that this was going to happen.
This is the one that hurts.
And then you get the announcement yesterday that Jackson Shellstad, who's been there for 3 years, who is a local product, who went to the same high school as Peyton Pritchard and West Lynn, grew up dreaming of playing for Oregon, went there for 3 years, started immediately upon walking on campus, is entering the transfer portal with 2 years of eligibility left. And
now, the portal doesn't open up till April 7th.
Well,
they moved the date.
Yeah, we know he's leaving. He's not coming back to Oregon.
Well, this is where I would say I would try to get with Jackson and his family and his handlers and whoever else and say, is there...
I'd imagine that already happened. That would be my guess.
Is there something we could do that would change your mind?
Sure. If that didn't happen, that's another red flag that you didn't see this coming. Because people around the program have been leaking this for months, saying this is going to happen. So it's not like a shock.
Always know, we see it with college football. Somebody, even when you sign the NIL deal, it's never over until it's over.
Then it's a weird. That leads to a whole other can of worms of a weird look of suing your own players to stay at your school, and I don't think that helps in recruiting. But that's almost a different conversation.
But you can't go in the portal until April 7th.
So he's not technically in the portal. He will place basketball somewhere else next year. I like the optimism approach that you're bringing to the table today. I think there's less than a 1% chance that this happens. Although
if you
Damon
see
Williams
some drastic moves coming out of Eugene.
Well, I think
we know who's calling the shots.
It leads to a time that the program is not, and it shouldn't just come down to Jackson Shellstad. That's oversimplifying it.
No, but I think
it's a symptom of the larger issues inside the
program.
Player
being in your backyard, who is
he's a good player too. He's a 15-6 guy. He's a good point guard. He's a good. I don't know what his status is in the NBA, but
grew up, as you said, followed in Peyton Pritchard's footsteps. That's where he wanted to go. That's where he wanted to have his legacy. That's where, and he's saying,
I don't see the vision. I don't see where this is going. And that's without
that's
the
where
coach
you
who
go
recruited him.
to. Is Dana Altman part of the solution moving forward?
And I don't think that he is. And I think it's time for the program to look itself in the mirror. Calling for people to lose their jobs is always a weird thing to do. I don't want people to do that to me, although they certainly exist online and in social media comments and all that.
We're told we stink and should go every day.
I don't like calling for people to get fired. It's a weird dynamic. He has been an unbelievable head coach. This has the writing on the wall. Now, save this for 2 years from now. Oregon's back in the Sweet 16. Look at that. Old Dana figured it out, and the old man can still coach. This has the writing on the wall of you didn't want to make a panic move and fire him after one down season, which I understand.
No.
But he also has not shown the ability in the last 16 months to hit the portal and to land the players that will be difference makers, and he's losing the guys who might have been his returning stars that he could build around. So you are looking at next year, an entirely new roster, an entirely new team. And that usually doesn't end well in college basketball.
That's not how he operates. Other people know how to do it. The Caliparis know how to do it and what the formula is to take in that and make it successful. Now, can they do it? Sometimes you get personalities and they're not interested in buying in. But
you have a bad year.
At least they have a little track record and they know kind of the Altman's whole thing going from Kansas State and Creighton and other places.
It's his guy. It's his system. He wants people to understand what he wants to do. And so if that's the solution and you're just saying we need to give him one more year, to me, you're just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
There is no chance, and mark this down again, hot take for you on March 25th at 7:11 a.m.
Hey,
let's go get a
Slurpee.
Take. There is no chance they're competitive in the Big Ten next year. None. And I can't tell you the last time.
That's the other problem is while Oregon was already built and set up football-wise to go into the Big Ten.
They're getting smoked in that conference. It's not going to go well. You're rebuilding your entire team in the hardest conference in college basketball. It's not going to end well. And if that's the case, what are we delaying the inevitable for?
Yeah.
Because if he has a bad year next year, they're going to move on from him.
Then they have to.
Because the argument right now is, well, it's one down year. You don't fire a guy after one down year. And I understand that. But there has to be some evidence that you can point to that say, look, it's going in the right.
I wonder if they can compel him, force him to bring in a general manager or somebody type there.
Is that enough in one off season to turn it around? To compete in the? Are you going to compete with Iowa,
and
Purdue, and Michigan, and Michigan State,
but
and
if
Illinois?
You do that now, and you get some, and the university makes the hire. I mean, obviously, you want Dana that's somebody that he's fine working with. You don't want to make things worse where it's oil and water, but it's, but you already have that in place.
Yeah.
Rather than starting from scratch next year.
Right. Somebody's saying, unless you're pulling in a Patino or May level coach, Altman is better than whoever you're going to bring in.
X's and O's and coaching-wise,
nobody doubts that.
Nobody doubts that. This is about talent recruitment.
Yes, and he doesn't have a general manager, and he has not shown the ability in this current era of basketball.
And then the other piece
to go do it.
Oregon has to ask itself of NIL resources and how much of it is being dedicated to basketball versus football versus what the other schools are doing in the Big Ten.
Look, they're not going to ever be a team who is at the highest level of spending in college basketball.
No, I don't think they'll be at the Michigan levels.
There's this misnomer out there because Oregon has the relationship with Nike that they get whatever they want whenever they want, and they are certainly very fortunate for the Phil Knight relationship.
They certainly have somebody they can go make a case to
without
if they need something extra.
When you look at athletic department spending of college basketball, Oregon is not at the top of the sport. It has not been a priority for them athletically for a while. And so that is all fair to Dana Altman of this. Like, he doesn't have a $20 million purse to just go sign whoever he wants year in and year out. This is not Kentucky.
Need to put some butts in that arena.
That's the other part of it. And this is the scary part for me. Because I, as a fan, I'm not somebody who's glued to college basketball every week.
I see Justin Joyner's infectious nature and personality, like inspiring the
youthful energy
to
and
show up and get involved and be excited.
That's sometimes the benefit of a change is it's just a new energy. You kind of revitalize. And I don't know how Joyner's going to do at Oregon State. Nobody has any clue.
Nobody has any clue, but
I think what the new coach
everybody's going to be interested to see.
Yes, and there just comes a time, and I was texting with a buddy about this yesterday because this news came out, and it's like, God, really? Can football season just get here? And It was the realization of, I can't tell you, college basketball starting is not a great time of the year in terms of being interested in the sport for me. Like, football's in the middle of the season. Oregon football is usually relevant. The NFL's going on. Like, I'll catch a game here or there in a tournament, but I'm not glued to it. But there's at least a vague level of, Shellstad's back. All right, Biddle's back this year. Evans, that's kind of how we went into this year. They were a tournament team who returned their 3 best players, and you're like, all right, this could be a good year.
And then they went down to that tournament in Vegas.
And it sunk.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I will be less excited for the start of a basketball season than I will be next year. And I know that I'm not alone in that category. And if the apathy sinks in,
some household name transfers
which they're not going to. How many household transfers even exist in college basketball? We don't watch the sport.
Yeah, I know.
How many random, you might know some names, but I'll be like, I've never heard of that guy before. They tried to get the UP center last year and they whiffed on him. I don't know where he ended up going, but that's 7-footer who could shoot.
He went to Wisconsin.
Yeah, did he have a good year this year?
Well, he came off the bench. He had some good games where he would hit threes, but
could have used him in Eugene this year. Our center was out for the majority of the season.
Well, he could have used anybody who could have made threes.
Anybody who could shoot. Like, that's the other scary part. It's just the level of apathy that now exists, and football seemingly will be a wagon again next year. And if that is the case, that's all the attention will go there, and you'll be a playoff team again, and you're returning your quarterback and your defensive line.
Baseball team might be going up.
Baseball team might be going. Year. I mean, yeah, we'll see, right? They usually choke when it matters most. You know, it's my life, my existence. But that'd be fun if they did. The baseball program's in really good hands right now, though. And it just, one of these is not like the other currently. And it's weird because I understand how good he has been and I appreciate all of the accomplishments that he's made. I just don't know if he's the guy that'll get this thing back on the tracks. And that is the issue. Not his X's and O's or him losing a step as a coach. It's talent acquisition is the most important thing in that sport. And right now, he ain't doing it. So I'm curious where people are at on that story. I think we do have breaking news out of college basketball, too, that we can fold into this segment.
Oh, boy. Hang on.
Hold on. I saw a tweet, and now I'm trying to verify. Okay. Hold on, let me verify.
All right.
Somebody sent me a thing.
Make sure we're not getting.
Hold on, let me double check. Yeah. This came out 29 minutes ago. Another big-time job in college basketball is now open. Bill Self is retiring. He's going to announce it later today. Oh, no, I got butt cracked. Never mind. Retract the statement. It's a John Rothstein fake account. Damn it. I read it. I was like, what is this? He might be retiring, but I have not confirmed it yet. So hold that one for now. Don't get over your skis. I apologize for the fake breaking news. I got butt cracked there for a moment. More conversation though on Oregon basketball. I want to continue this. Where are you at, Duck fans? Like, am I crazy? You think I'm an idiot for saying he should get fired and they should move on? I'm just curious where the fan base is at because I know it's a very splintered opinion right now. We'll get into the Jailblazer doc coming up bottom of the hour. Back after this on the Fam.
Fan Madness was a blast.
Place is already packed. Games are about to get underway.
Big shots, buckets.
All right, the trailer was revealed yesterday for the Jailblazer documentary. We'll play that for you coming up about 10 minutes, and I want to talk about that. I'm worried they're going to miss something from my generation, and I want to talk about that coming up in 10 minutes. Let's get back into some baseball stuff at the top of the hour. We'll go to Houston at 9 a.m. with our buddy Josh Peterson as Nebraska gets ready to play in the Sweet 16. Wanted to read a couple thoughts here at the fan text line, 503-864-6326. One of these, let's see, where did it go? Oregon needs a GM like other teams have. I think that would help. I still don't know if that means Altman needs to go or not, but I think that's an important piece. Another one, Dana was crushing the portal before it was standard place. Now with NIL, he can't land anyone. I don't think he forgot how to evaluate. I think he has no resources. Another one, maybe it's time for Mark Few to come back to his alma mater. Took me with a good time. That'd be a nice little move. I don't know if he's going to make it, but I certainly would be intrigued by it. Yeah, I just somebody said Jackson is a good player. Is not a good player, in my opinion. Lived up to the hype. Never lived up to the hype. Look, he's not a first-round draft pick kind of guy, but in terms of like college point guards, he's a 15-6 guy who can shoot.
And great on-the-ball defender.
Great on-the-ball defender. He's a good ball handler. Like, he was poised for – this was supposed to be a big breakout year for him, and then he got hurt and was not available for the majority of the year. Next year was the year he was – like, when you look at Peyton Pritchard's career, his year one, he was on that Final Four team as kind of the fifth fiddle. Year two, he took a little bit of a step. I think it was his third year that ended up being like, oh, damn, this guy's an all-conference, all-American kind of player, and he ended up getting drafted as an undersized white point guard, right? It just doesn't happen very often for those guys. And so, like, you build to that point where he's not a one-and-done guy. That was never Jackson Shellstad, but he's only gotten better as his career has gone on, and he was going to be one of the better players in the Big Ten next year.
If he goes to a blue blood program.
Right now, the favorite to land him is Arizona. That's where everybody's sniffing around.
Boy, you get somebody that knows what they're doing as a confident, established point guard at the college level.
Yes.
You're already an odds-on favorite for...
How much money is he going to make, too? Because point guards are not... They're not just a dime a dozen to go find a guy with experience who's played in a big game.
He's not a Caleb
guy.
Love.
Like, he's going to make a lot of money. And the only thing I'll push back on those comments, because I'm reading through and I'm like, yeah, I think those are all valid takes. This idea that he has no resources is the only one I'll push back on. And I know a lot of the athletic department stuff is public. He doesn't have as much to spend as others, but no resources is far too extreme.
Mark Few might have more resources at Gonzaga than
that wouldn't surprise me.
To their basketball program.
Mark Few's not realistic. I don't know. The last time Oregon went into a basketball coaching search, it was Tubby Smith, another big name. Wait, let's go get Tom Izzo. And then he landed Dana Altman, and everybody said, Dana Altman, Creighton, huh? And it ended up being a great run. Maybe it will get back to being a great run, and this ages terribly in 2 years. The apathy that sets in to me is the most concerning thing. That's already there amongst a lot of the fans. When that trickles down and you have 80 people in Matthew Knight Arena for the majority of your 8 p.m. tip home games on a Tuesday night next year, it's a horrible, embarrassing look. And you look around the sport, and it's around the Big Ten in particular, packed arenas, passionate fan bases, whether they're elite championship level teams or not. Like a lot of places you go, there is serious investment and buy-in from the fan base, and they care about it. And that's not where Oregon basketball is at. I don't know if getting rid of Altman would fix that. I don't know if that would solve that problem. He floated the idea a couple years ago when they went to the CBI and they lost and nobody was there. And he's like, do I need to go? Where the hell are the fans? Like, this has been an issue that's been lingering for a while, and it's only going to get worse because you are going to have an entirely new roster next year. And people don't follow college basketball that closely in the offseason. No. I'm going to wake up sometime in November and turn a game on and be like, who the hell are these guys from? I've never heard of any of them before. And again, maybe he surprises and gets back to it.
But if they decide to part ways with Dana, however they decide to
it should be said, I don't think this is going to happen. I'm just saying it should be more on the table than they're allowing it to be.
I think part of it is finding a basketball coach that was at a football dominant athletic department. They got to know how to navigate that.
Yeah, being second fiddle.
You can't come in and whine and complain about not having things, if you come from a Kentucky or a Kansas or somewhere. Hey,
maybe Mark Pope gets turfed and we go get Mark Pope. That's not a good example because it's a basketball school and he is the biggest fiddle there.
Yeah.
But he might have some other guys get fired. Should we hire Hubert Davis? Huh? Hubert Davis is available. That does nothing for me. That does nothing for me.
What do you...
I would want to go younger, energetic, somebody who can relate to this generation of players a little bit better, who can pump some life into the program, who is a good salesman, because the sad reality is I think you kind of need that right now. Unfortunately for our fan base, like Oregon basketball hasn't always been that. I remember when I was a student there and Matt Court was rocking and you were, not as good consistently.
Unbelievable.
But there was a great atmosphere and an investment in the fans, and it was a big deal for the students. Like, I remember.
That's the thing.
When I
think
got there, the pit crew was a big deal.
Can tap into there is first, let's just get the student fan base.
Get them rocking again.
Let's get 4,000 of them in there every single.
And how do I do that?
Game.
And it just hasn't happened. Even when they've been good, you haven't had that on the majority of nights. Unless, a big time program's in town, you'll get a good atmosphere for that game.
Yeah, on a Saturday
outside
or
of
Friday
that,
or whatever.
But
it's
quarter empty or 50% empty, and it's not that loud.
Because you have to, and all those weeknight games, and the Big Ten, obviously, you're getting weird times. Sunday at 3 p.m. You can't rely on the Portland area fan base to drive down for all that stuff. You're drawing just from Eugene.
For an 8:15 tip on a Thursday night, you're not getting people to drive down because those games exist in the new Big Ten. So
even if it is, Michigan State, Michigan, whoever.
Right. I wouldn't have this same take had the conference realignment not happened, because in the old Pac-12, UCLA is certainly a good program. I know they lost, but they're a good program. Arizona's Arizona. And outside of that,
it was cyclical all over.
That's all you got to deal with.
Stanford would be good for 2 years all of a sudden.
Colorado or Utah randomly, whatever. Dude, you look at the Big Ten next year, they're going to get dominated. They got dominated this year. You think it's going to be any better next year?
No.
And how many years are you willing to allow that to happen and the apathy continue to build up until you say, oh, okay, now it's time to make a change? So it feels like a dead man walking situation. We'll see how it plays out. Shellstad transferring yesterday, just the latest blow to Oregon basketball, and I do think it's time to start having that conversation. I think it's time for a change in Eugene. We'll get to some baseball stuff coming up top of the hour. Some great picks coming in for Sprague. Evidently, he's really high on the White Sox in the AL Central, so we wrote that pick down. He picked my Giants to win the NL West. What a brave move on his part. So listeners, keep those rolling in. I want to talk, though, the Jailblazer documentary trailer came out yesterday. And I'll play it for you if you missed it. It's about 90 seconds long. It's coming out in a couple of weeks. Are you excited for this? Are you scared about it? And will it miss the mark for this generation? I'll explain that next, but first, your swag with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Blazers look to feast at the buffet of NBA bottom feeders yet again as the Milwaukee Bucks roll into Moda Center for a 7 p.m. tip. You can see it on KUNP Xfinity Channel 1016 if you don't have a ticket. Portland begins play a half game behind the Clippers for the 8th seed in the Western Conference. They are 12.5-point favorites. Opening night for Major League Baseball, a single game for you on Netflix. The Giants hosting the Yankees, 5:05 first pitch. Max Fried, Logan Webb, your scheduled starters. After a 6-0 shutout Tuesday night, the 20th-ranked Oregon Ducks baseball squad looking for a 2-game sweep of UC San Diego. First pitch 3:05 this afternoon. Pre-game coverage begins at 2:45 on 910 ESPN Portland. And the Portland Thorns are looking for their first road win of the season in San Diego. They will take on the Waves, 7:07 kickoff. You can hear it on our sister station, 94.7 KNRK HD2. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:45. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon
All right, we'll get back into baseball coming up top of the hour. If you missed the start of the show today, it was a rant about how it's opening night but not really opening day, and that's stupid, and I'm excited my team's playing, but the way baseball handles this is really dumb, and it should be everybody playing on opening day, and it should be a universal opening day. I digress. But we'll get back into some baseball stuff coming up top of the hour. Storylines we're excited for and things to look out for in the upcoming season. Something was released yesterday that caught the attention of a lot of folks in these parts, and that is, and we mentioned this, I want to say 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks, I can't remember how long ago, but it came out. Netflix does these untold documentary series, not series in the right word, but they do a handful of them every year, and they announced their slate, and they went through all the different ones that they're doing a documentary on, and one of the categories of Netflix untold documentaries this year was our beloved Jailblazers. We're finally going to get the documentary that we were promised a long time ago that was supposed to be like an HBO product, and then it was a 30 for 30, and then it has slowly morphed into an untold Netflix documentary.
There you go.
Excited nonetheless. And yesterday they released the trailer. I'm going to play it for you. It's a little bit long. It's about a minute 40 long. And then I want to talk about an idea out of this, and I think we'll have I'm curious where this conversation will go because we're from different generations of fandom in this city. And so here is the trailer. It's coming out on April 14th, and Rashid's in it, Bonzi Wells is in it, Damon Stoudemire's in it. Those are the three players, if I remember correctly. I can't remember if there's any others in it. There might be when it comes out, but in the trailer at least. And here is how it sounded.
When I went back to Portland after I was traded,
Rasheed Wallace.
I knew I was going to get booed. I didn't think I was going to get booed like that.
This was the greatest sociology experiment in sports. The general manager was taking guys that had been in trouble.
And I'd clean this guy up and turn it into something spectacular.
When Rasheed arrived in Portland, it was like someone dropped the bass on this franchise.
It's been a long time since Blazer fans have been this excited.
Rasheed Wallace, Damon Stoudemire, Bonzi Wells, they were immature, petty, but so good.
For us, it was finals or bust. I mean, we was rolling.
We had him on the ropes.
Like, these guys are legends.
This was going to be it.
And that's when everything started happening.
I wake up to my wife hitting me. What'd you do last night?
Stoudemire and Wallace been cited for marijuana possession.
Maybe smoking all this weed is why we missed so many shots.
They just kind of hit all at once.
Jail time for drunk driving.
Bonzi Wells pushing and shoving.
Setting a league record for technical fouls.
These fans turned on me like...
Portland has its own beat.
It was a culture shock. You don't know where I come from. You don't understand me at all.
They're an insult to the city.
The team is now being called the Jailblazers.
I've never seen a turn on a team like this.
Can you guys just stay out of trouble? I'm a sportscaster. I'm not a crime reporter.
She told me, like, Bonzi, if we don't win the game, let's win the fight.
So that sets it up a little bit. I love, by the way, the audio call. I'm assuming that was probably the fan. Somebody calling in saying maybe if they didn't smoke all that weed, they would have made more shots. And so I'm watching this yesterday, and I thought our buddy Eric Gunderson, Blazer Banter, brought up a wonderful point that I agree with. And I still feel to this day. Now, I certainly understand in the aftermath of it all crumbling and the way it ended and how ugly it got, that they became villains in this city and they were despised and the organization became a bit of a local pariah, right? Of just how could you possibly do this and how could you let this happen? There is also, I think, a split between, and I don't know where that dividing line is, right? Like if you're under a certain age, you have no recollection of the Jailblazers in real time.
I was just out of college, just getting married, that sort of thing.
If you're under the age of 30, you don't have any memories of this. Like that, if you're under the age of 30, that to you is what the 89-91 finals teams are to me. Like I was alive for those, but I don't. I remember Clyde at the back end of it when he's demanding a trade. Those are my first, and we used to go to games that were season ticket holders, but I don't remember the runs. I don't remember the storylines and the moments.
Build up to the finals thing. That was.
I have no frame of reference there. And I feel like that was special. There's a gap, and you're hitting on it perfectly. where there is a segment of Blazer fans, some who are older, who got to experience the first championship.
Well, I think the main difference is there was no giant buildup the way because so many of those Drexler and Porter and Kersey
they were here forever.
All drafted.
Yes, and then you went and got Buck.
And then you added in, you made the trade for Duckworth, you added in Buck, but you drafted Cliffy. He was coming off the bench. You drafted Mark Bryant.
A lot of homegrown talent.
Yeah. This was Trader Bob, and I'm glad Whitsit's in this.
He's in the documentary.
He's probably the guy I'm most interested to hear from because he didn't talk much, or I don't remember him talking much during that period. He did not engage the media about what he was up to.
I am hoping.
There was just the famous quote of "I'm not a chemistry professor," or whatever it was.
Right, and Trader Bob became his nickname, and that has stuck with him to fans in this area.
He's
for a long
the one
time.
I want to hear from,
and I'm assuming he's going to be in it a lot. And again, the three players that they show were Bonzi, Sheed, and Damon. I don't know if any other players are in there, but those are the three that were in the trailer.
We'll see if Arvidas will be part of it.
Maybe you get Ruben I don't know, Ruben Patterson in jail. I don't know what he's doing. What's Quintel Woods up to these days? I don't know. But I think you touched on something there that is interesting because we're of different generations of Blazer fans, right? Like, you were alive for the championship, but you don't remember.
No, I am more of a Tar Heel fan than a Duke fan, and I remember Sheed at Carolina.
Sure.
And initially I was like,
Sheed is awesome.
Awesome.
This is great, right?
Let's go.
But you as a Blazer fan had other eras that you could lean on of success.
Yes.
Whereas the late 80s and 90s teams who were beloved in this market, they were all seemingly good guys. They did it the right way. And they got all the way to an NBA championship twice. And in every year they were competitive and relevant in the playoffs, and you'd have heartbreaking losses. But you were there and in the mix for a run, for a chunk of years there. You got to live in the glory days of Blazer fandom. I was alive. I don't remember it. I don't have any recollection of those teams and those title runs. So for the fans in my generation, and this is what Eric Gunderson put out yesterday, he said, one thing I'm worried about we will miss the perspective of kids who grew up in the area at this time and what they thought. She has a universal approval rating with younger Blazer fans in that era. My friends at the playground would literally pretend to be him. And it's such a perfect point because if you're I'm 37 years old. This is all I've ever had.
Yeah.
I had the hope and the promise of Roy, Oden, and Aldridge that then crumbled.
No, really, it was just the 2000.
It was the first time they went and lost to the Spurs that got and they got swept.
Yeah, the Memorial Day
miracle. You lose game one, and it just all right. But you were close. You got to the conference finals. The next year, it's game 7. You blow it, and then there was hope that maybe it stays alive. That's it. Yeah. That's all I got in my life of tasting any sort of level of success. And so, I do think there will be a spin at the end of this of how much the city hates them and how vilified they were. And I understand that segment of the fan base exists. Don't get me wrong. This is more about the people who were, when we were kids, we didn't quite fully understand everything. Maybe for us, weed wasn't as big of a deal as it was to older generations, and the landscape around that has completely changed in the years to come. And these guys were heroes from my generation, and they still are to this day. And one of the painful things that's happened lately was, I can't remember why he was back in town. Maybe they were honoring one of these teams, but Damon Stoudemire was back in town.
Yeah, no, they did. It was
it last year? Was that this year? I can't remember.
It was the 25th anniversary of that team that got to the Western Conference
Finals. And he had talked about how much it hurt him that the city didn't appreciate them and love them. And I remember the takeaway at the time being like, there's older fans that probably feel that way. Damon, from people in my generation, dude, you went to Wilson. I'm a PIO kid. You went to Wilson High School. You went to Arizona. You were a Raptor. You're rookie of the year.
Knocked my team out of the state
You're a legend in this area, man, and you always will be. And I just look past the weed stuff now, and I kind of did at the time anyways.
Yeah,
and
there was some other stuff that...
I mean, it was ugly. Don't get me wrong, but...
Yeah.
There's just an idea that they were complete villains and everybody in the city turned on them. And I think they will miss the mark of younger fans who this is the only taste of real success that I've ever had in my life. We got to the conference finals with Lillard and we got swept by a team with our two best players.
Yeah. Sheed had a combative personality. Anything that would come at him, and he was in that fight or flight and he would fight.
He would fight.
And that was great on a basketball court. It didn't do him any favors in the media.
Nope, it did not. And the reality of it, though, is for all Blazer fans, is that when they were in 99, 2000, like when they were going to the conference finals and
they
losing,
would have won a title that year.
They would have won the title if they not blown Game 7. And that's a loss that we won't overcome until our team finally does it.
No Pacer fan will convince me otherwise.
No, get out of here, Reggie Miller. Caramel Cat, we weren't scared of you.
The Duncan Dutchman.
But the other reality of our fan base is that there were things that guys were getting in trouble for. They were getting technical fouls. Like there was troublemaking that was happening while they were winning, and nobody gave a rip. Nobody cared because we were this is the Puka Nacua conversation. How long do you put up with crazy? How long is that until that breaking point happens? And then the losses piled up and the playoff run stopped. And then all of a sudden they were villains and these guys are horrible scums of society. I'm curious, like, do you think they're going to hit it? Do you think they're going to miss the mark on this documentary? It comes out a little over 2 weeks from now.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. And hopefully when they go to, the different fan bases or media or those sorts of things here in Portland, you hope they do get the whole swath.
Yes.
Of it.
The older fans who were yelling and reading their newspaper and younger fans who I, to this day, own a Rasheed Wallace jersey. He will always be one of my favorite Blazers. A Scottie Pippen jersey. Sabonis, like those guys to me, I mean, that's the last time we had a legitimate shot at winning anything. And it's depressing to think that it was 25 years ago and I was 10 or 11 or 12 whenever it was happening. But it's the reality that we live in. So your thoughts are welcome. 503-864-6326. We'll read some of them on the other side. Get back into some baseball stuff.
Dunleavy was the coach?
Dunleavy was the coach.
Yeah,
and then he handed it to Mo Cheeks, and then that's almost a different iteration of it.
I want to hear Whitsitt and Dunleavy are probably because I've heard most of the other players or I've seen quotes or those I kind of know where they're coming from.
Right.
But the guys that put the team together and then Dunleavy who had to manage it game to game.
Imagine being the coach in that locker room.
What the hell's going through his mind?
That's a good point. I hope he's
worried every time my phone rings at 2 a.m. What the hell's going on now?
Who's got weed on him now, man? What's happening? Send your thoughts in. We'll read some of them on the other side. Baseball stuff, top of the hour. Back after this on The Fan.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up.
Woo! Do not go in there.
A sports lowlight, ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Schedule your appointment online at threemountainshome.services.com.
Everybody that knows Hubert Davis adores him, and I'm in that group. But it makes sense to me from the outside looking in that Carolina would look to someone else to lead this basketball program, given all those banners.
Guy was in the national championship 3 years ago. They're already willing to move on, but my program won't do it. That is SVP last night on SportsCenter talking about Hubert Davis, who was fired at North Carolina. They blew a 19-point lead to VCU in the opening round of the tournament. We all assumed it was going to happen. News came out. He is fired. And now UNC will go big game hunting to try and find their next coach. But for right now, that program and Hubert Davis stinking it up. Who's stinking it up? Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Our friends at Three Mountains Home Services have a sweet special this March. Purchase a new high-efficiency HVAC system and score a 16-year parts and labor warranty. 16 seasons of comfort starts now. Visit ThreeMountainsHomeservices.com today. A lot of thoughts rolling in. The nostalgia hits, right? Blazers in the news. The glory days of the Jailblazers. Wanted to read a couple thoughts here that got fired off. 503-864-6326. Let's see here. I was going to follow one. Where did it go? I'm 37, too, and you're totally right. We love those guys. Didn't care as much about the off-court issues. Another one, 35-year-old here. Sheed and Damon I grew up on. Even at 10, 11, I knew the villain motive from the elders was pearl clutching. Another one, I'm 29. This was the first version of the Blazers that I remember. Damon Stoudemire was the first point guard that I really remember. I remember going to a Damon Stoudemire basketball camp when I was a kid. If we ever interview him again, I'll tell him the story. And it was at the Boys and Girls Club basketball camp. I can't remember which Boys and Girls Club. It was a big deal. Damon Stoudemire's here. Local guy, right? This is going to be fun. He shows up and he does a Q&A at the end of the camp where all the kids get to sit and ask questions. And the one thing they said, I don't know why I was this level of an idiot. Maybe it's foreshadowing. And they tell us, like, you can ask a lot of stuff. Don't ask about off-court things. And I can't remember exactly at what point in the Jailblazer era that was. But then it was also don't ask anything financial. And so the microphone got passed, and my dumbass stood up and was like, hey, Damon, how much money do you make a year? And everybody laughed, and they scoffed at me, and he didn't answer the question. So I was a bit of an idiot. But to talk about the eras that we grew up in, like, that was a big deal to go to his basketball camp. It's a pretty big deal. I wanted to read, there's a few more in here. This one, Dirt, I'm a few years older than you. Before I moved to Portland, I was a big fan of the Jailblazers, thought they were fascinating to watch, mostly because I liked that team that lost to the Lakers. After moving to PDX and hearing more of their stories, I appreciate them more. Didn't want the history to be whitewashed. The text got cut off there. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think a lot of people are excited for this. I'm curious how the entire thing will be spun and what the messaging will be out of it. And I also just think, like, somebody said, I don't want to tune in and hear Sheed and Bonzi and all these guys play the victim. And in reality, like, I don't know. Time heals all wounds for me, and I know the landscape of society that we live in now is drastically different. Like, it is really funny to think about in 2026 when I have on my walk in my neighborhood multiple pot dispensaries that I could go into at any time. The idea of these guys being villains, and I know it was far more than just smoking weed, right? Like, but when you're talking about Rasheed Wallace, for example, or Damon Stoudemire, like
that was the bullshit.
Two guys who were the two of the feature players. Like, yeah, dude, if we're getting into Ruben Patterson and Darius Miles, like, I'm not defending some of that, or Quintel Woods and the dog fighting. Like, that's a different can of worms that you're getting into. But the idea that Sheed's going to come on and play victim, like, yeah, dude, there was a component of that in that era in this city. It was old white people in a largely white city who didn't understand a black guy with a backwards hat who kept getting caught smoking weed, and we vilified him for it. So I don't have any problem with him playing the victim. Did he have attitude issues? Did he lash out at refs too much? Of course he did. Yeah. But so do a lot of players in this era. I don't know. I think it's a generational thing that if you grew up in my era, it wasn't quite as big of a deal. And again, Ruben Patterson and some of these guys are different. I remember playing a high school football game, and they had a moment where the Blazers were trying to get back involved in the community, and like it was that era of you could go sit 5 rows up from the floor for $10 because nobody's going. Actually, an underrated era because it was super cheap to go to games. And I remember they sent a Blazer out to a high school football game at all the PIL schools, and they wanted a guy there. I think I've told this story on the air before, but we were getting ready to run onto the field at Cleveland for a vicious battle for whoever the hell we were playing. And if you've ever been to Cleveland's football field, it's up a little bit away from the school, and there's these gates that you can drive through, and it's kind of this big, city block, if you will, and there's a grass area up above it and all that. And in drives a Hummer, and as the door opens, I'm not kidding you could like literally see and smell the smoke, and it was Darius Miles getting out, and I think he went and stood at the concession stand for a quarter, and then he drove off and said, see you later, doing his public outreach. So not all these things are the same. I do think that I think a segment of the fan base has vilified these guys to the point of exhaustion. Like, I get it. You've clutched your pearls. You didn't appreciate what had happened and how it transpired. The reality is it's the last time we've been relevant in the NBA. Outside of Damian Lillard and having a brief belief that Roy, Aldridge, and Odin could do something before it all crumbled, like that's the last time that we had a legitimate shot at a title. And they will always hold a special place for me, and so I'm excited to watch it. I'm curious how it all gets spun. But the documentary trailer is out, and the release date will be April 14th. Untold, the story of the Jailblazers on Netflix. Lots to get to in the third hour of the show. Let me pull up the old show sheet, see what we got completely on here. We're going to start Major League Baseball. It is opening day, kind of. Not really, but kind of. So we'll talk a little bit about that, get into some storylines. We'll make our baseball picks. Swag found these different ballpark food items that we're going to run through.
I've seen different stuff. I saw the Mariners have a lot of things going on. They have some new vendors.
Always
some
get creative, yeah.
Always creative. They're celebrating some anniversaries as well.
Okay, so we'll dive into what are you willing to try on the exotic menu items
all
this year.
of the new ballpark items. And I have to say, I'm more. Sometimes they come out and they're just so ridiculous and
so
egregious.
over the top. Yeah,
that one Sunday in Philly, it's a lot of crap. Like it's like.
I don't need that much. That's a little extreme.
Yeah,
let's calm it down a little bit. A lot of them that I was reading through this yesterday, I'm like, yeah, I would.
But
yeah,
a lot of them, I'm like,
yeah,
no, that actually looks pretty good.
I don't know if I'd eat the entire thing.
I don't know. I didn't see what they're charging for these things, and I'm sure it's obnoxious because all ballpark concessions are obnoxious these days.
Yes, they are.
But there's a couple of them where I'm like, no, I would shell out for that.
I think I'd eat that.
Well, pretty much whatever,
So we'll get to that in the third hour of the show. I'm taking the 2-year-old on his first flight next Monday, and I'm terrified of how this is going to go. So any advice you have, please fire away.
Yeah, that's 5 hours.
It's a long flight. It's not like we're not just going to like L.A. You're up and down, basically.
You getting yourself a cocktail?
We're over the ocean, and I might need 12 of them. But there's an airline who announced something yesterday that is this a game changer for flying, or are we making too big of a deal out of it? So I got that in the notes in this hour. And also one player in the NBA arguing that this rule and restriction should be lifted. And I think he has a valid argument.
I think he has a valid argument, too.
Let's talk about that. We get a loaded third hour, starting with some baseball stuff next. 105.1 FM The Fan.
Did you know that most Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Blazers smack dab in a chase for the 8th spot in the Western Conference, starting play a half game behind Clippers. They get the Waffle Bucks at Moda Center tonight, 7 o'clock on KUMP Xfinity Channel 1016. Portland 12.5-point favorites. Clippers are also in action, and they are hosting the Raptors. They are 4.5-point favorites. That's a 7:40 tip. Opening night for Major League Baseball will happen by the Bay. The Giants hosting the Yankees, a single game on Netflix, 5:05 first pitch. Max Fried, Logan Webb, your scheduled starters. 11 games tomorrow for opening day. Thorns are looking for their first road win of the season in San Diego tonight, battling the Wave. Kickoff 7:07 p.m. You can hear this game on our sister station, KNRK HD Channel 2. Our pregame coverage will begin at 6:45. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Recruiting with Andrew Nemec.
Hey, welcome back in. Hour number 3. Dirt and Sprague here, Portland Sports Leader at 105.1 FM, The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app. Live on YouTube.
Take your hands and put it down your pants, son.
You got it, Ed. You got it. Lots to get to in the next 2 hours. We're at the halfway mark of the show. Halfway mark of the week. How about that? A hump day? Halfway through, man. Halfway through.
Yeah, traffic's light out there.
Traffic is light. The office is empty. That's the way it's rolling this week, but that's all right. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their spring breaks, and Sprague will be back next week, and then I'm out next week. So it's going to be a bit of a
we all
partial show
together. April 6th?
Week of the Masters.
Masters week.
Don't you worry. When I was going to Hawaii, that was the first thing I checked because there were open availabilities in April, and I thought, wait a minute, I'm not missing that.
And your big giant Masters
my tub of food
basket will be there for you.
We'll be right there. A couple of quick housekeeping notes.
Oh.
Housekeeping. It has been voted upon as of 22 minutes ago.
Really?
We knew this was going to happen today.
Oh.
That the Board of Governors in the NBA has approved a vote for the league to explore bids.
Okay.
And applications for expansion. I love how we have to phrase this. This is so stupid.
Whatever.
The league they have voted on Seattle and Vegas getting NBA teams, and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, how long will it take? Is it 2 years?
Handing out paddles.
How many?
You can bid.
How many years will it take? I don't know.
$7.5 billion.
They will expand.
I hear $8 billion, $8.5 billion.
9. Give me 9.
God, give me that TV show.
That would be a bid on professional sports franchises.
With
would be
all of these recluse billionaire owners, and they have their little table right there.
Incredible.
Let's go.
That would be incredible. So that came across the wire a little bit earlier, about 30 or so minutes ago. Big deal for the people up in Seattle listening, and you're gonna get your NBA team back, which is a big deal. Also, one of the great point at the fan text line, and then we'll move on from the topic. A lot of people texting in. I understand that not everybody's going to agree with what I had to say and views the era differently. I get that. My whole point was there are different generations of Blazer fans who have had the ability to experience certain things. Some of us have never really had nice things, and this is the nicest thing we've ever had. And it's depressing, but that's the reality that I live in.
I will be curious to see if, in chatting with Bonzi and Rashid and Damon, if they're asked at some point, looking back, do you wish you had done some things differently?
Well, I'm sure they all do, yeah. But I'll be curious if that's a
not
question.
Not so much the Hummer and the weed and all that stuff. More about how they dealt with the media and the public,
right?
Throughout the course of their stay in Portland.
Well, that's a whole other subplot of this. I certainly, as a 12-year-old, was not a member of the media at the time, but I was a consumer of media, as we all were. My parents used to get a newspaper every day. Like, we were Oregonian subscribers and all that.
Do you know?
A lot of this was framed through the view of older media members who were just shaking their
but there
fists at
were
what was happening.
some current media members that were starting their careers at that point that are, and I will be curious if any of them.
I don't know how many media members will be in there.
Part of the documentary.
Yes, there's two columnists that come to mind who did a lot of the rabble-rousing, if you will, that led a lot of the city to say, "How dare you!" Also, a good point. Somebody said Netflix couldn't just wait 6 more days to release it on 4/20. And valid argument. It was right there for you. It's a layup. It's what's the basis of them getting in trouble? It's right there. It's right there. Yeah. 6 days away. It's coming out on April 14th. Love that point. If you missed the start of the show, evidently we can't rewind on YouTube anymore, so you can't rewind to see the start of the show. We'll add that to the list of things that we need to get figured out here. So I have.
I had to. So the first segment that I didn't go or something, I had to in that first commercial break.
Yes.
Empty out and restart it. So
and somehow,
you may not be able to get the first opening segment. We apologize. I don't know what was going on. We're the only two in the building.
Literally. Well, Terry Boyd's here. I saw him going into take a dump
Terry's
earlier.
here, and it's us two, and there's still nobody else here. Then the lights are off where the salespeople congregate.
I always forget that Terry Boyd is also a Giants fan, so we had a nice little conversation because I got my Giants stuff on today, and he said, "Hey, let's go Giants." I always forget that he's a Giants fan too.
One day I'll probably root for him.
Hey, there you go. We'll see how it goes.
I hate the Yankees worse than anything.
But it leads to the conversation we had earlier in the show, which is today is cool for me, dumb for everybody else, because the idea of opening day should be opening day. And then not only do you only get one game on quote-unquote opening day when it's opening night, actually, then tomorrow on actual opening day, not every team plays. So it just is one of the most convoluted.
At least you have 11 games, 22 teams are in action. It will feel like opening day.
There'll be games on all day, and you'll flip around. It'll be on ESPN and all that. And so, there will be baseball on. But it just is a weird way to start your year. Everybody should play on the same day, have an actual opening day. We're all regional fans. The only teams we care about are our teams, and that's about it.
Well, and I would say opening day is the day that obviously you're going to tune into your team, but when you stagger stuff all throughout the day, as opposed to in the regular season, all the East Coast games start around 4 o'clock our time.
Exactly, yeah.
And so this is a day where everything's all spread out, where you're more likely to go see the opening day festivities. Mm-hmm. You're going to go, Paul Skeens is opening day starter for Pittsburgh.
I'll watch if he's throwing. I got no problem with that.
So you're more likely to do that. And, dudes change teams, that sort of thing.
Oh, it's going to take a while to remember who's on what team. Like, I do that in the NBA when a team will come to town, and I'm like, that's right.
Kyle Tucker's now a Dodger.
He plays there. I'm not going to make a lot of it about my team, although they are playing tonight. I'm excited to watch them. Just a fun factoid for you as they get ready to start their season tonight on Netflix.
And your manager breaking ground in the major leagues.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that.
I'm very curious to see.
I'm glad we didn't hire another old fart, but, we'll see. He's been off to an interesting start in San Francisco, so time will tell. I also don't know how important managers actually are, and maybe not spending big money on a starting pitcher is what's going to backfire and cost him this year. But since we're on the topic, did you know baseball's back?
Yeah.
MLB opening night is tonight. Aaron Judge and the Yankees face off against Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. Yankees-Giants live on Netflix tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific. A quick factoid, and then we'll move on from my team. They're making history tonight in a bad way, but maybe a good way for years to come.
No.
This is the first time my team, since 2007, that is the year I graduated from high school, Jason Swigard, 2007.
Just don't.
I'm almost 40. I'm not even that young anymore.
That hurts.
First time since 2007 that the Giants have had the same opening day left fielder back-to-back years. Since Barry Bonds retired, they have not had the same starting left fielder 2 seasons in a row on opening day. It has been a revolving door. Some of the names on this list are hilarious. Dave Roberts, Fred Lewis.
Doc.
I was a big Fred Lewis guy. He never panned out. Mark DeRosa, Pat the Bat Burrell, Aubrey Huff. What's his thong up to these days? Mike Morse, Andres Torres, Nori Aoki, Angel Pagan, Jared Parker. I don't even remember Jared Parker. Hunter Pence, Connor Joe, Alex Dickerson.
Hunter Pence only 1 year?
Well, because he moved around a little bit.
That's
he wasn't
true.
always. Sometimes he was a right fielder, sometimes he left. So just starting left fielder.
Was there for,
he was there for a number of years.
He's on TV somewhere, isn't he?
He does Giants games occasionally.
Okay.
I don't don't know, maybe he's an MLB Network guy, but he'll be a fill-in broadcaster for him from time to time. Alex Dickerson, Austin Slater, Jock Peterson, Blake Sable, Michael Conforto, and now for the second consecutive year, Heliot Ramos is your starting left fielder. So for the first time in nearly 20 years, they have the same starting left fielder to open the year. Are we ready for the ABS Challenge system?
Yes.
It's coming to ballparks near you.
Yes.
We're prepared and dialed. Do you think it's going to be a success?
Yes.
And well received from the fan bases?
May not be well received. That's going to depend on how it goes for their particular team. But in terms of how it operates, now I did notice because they played the last 2 days, they played spring training games, but in Dodger Stadium.
Yes.
So they hadn't, I noticed in spring training, all the ABS systems seemed to work pretty flawlessly. It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
I did notice there was a little bit more delay from the time that the ump said the pitch is being challenged until we saw it up on the big screen.
How long are we talking? What's it?
I don't know, 15, 20 seconds.
Oh, okay, that's a little bit lengthier.
I mean, it wasn't like everybody was standing around going, what's going on?
Right.
But in the spring training games, it was really quick.
Fast, yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's simply because, the people up there, it was their first time using it in real time, and they're just getting used to it. I don't know if maybe the systems are simpler in the minor league stadiums. There's not as much going on as with the big, there's 87 video boards in those places. So maybe it just takes longer. I don't know.
That'll be interesting to keep an eye on of what is the time delay, because one of the best parts about seeing it in spring training was how rapid it was.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot.
But I haven't heard a whole lot of complaining about they don't think it's, legit, or they're questioning the validity
the technology
of the
of
measuring of the system or anything like that.
So for those who are not aware, here is how it's going to look this season. A quick rundown if you forgot, and if you haven't watched any spring training baseball. You'll see it tonight. It'll happen a couple of times. Each team is going to get 2 challenges, and they keep them if they're successful. So you challenge a strike, you challenge a ball, whatever. If you're right, you keep the challenge. If you lose it, you're down to 1. It continues from there. Challenges can only be initiated by the pitcher on the mound, the catcher, or the batter, and it must come immediately after a pitch. Now, they're a stickler for this. I can't remember who it was, but just last week there was a guy in spring training who, Bichette maybe, he took a strike, didn't agree with the call, and he had a brief moment of I think it was strike 3, and he kind of tossed his bat up in the air frustrated. And then as he's catching his bat, he then taps his helmet, which is the sign that he wants to challenge it, and he made another move first, and so therefore it is null and void.
It's got to be immediate. There's no help from the benches.
Ball, strike, boom, tap your head, tap your glove.
Yeah, you've got to decide. And I think for the most part, the players understand that.
Yes.
I didn't see too many disputes. I get the sense that Major League Baseball and the Players Union and everybody has really emphasized how this is supposed to work to the players out there. It's immediately.
This is not going to drag on where you're
not
walking
going to
the
step
dugout
out of the
saying,
box
and
then, it is, no, you missed it. That's a ball, or that was a strike, whatever. Most of the teams that I've heard pitchers and catchers talking about it, they're going to leave it up to the catchers. Most of the teams...
Yeah, pitchers are going to be aggressive with it, but the catcher has a better view.
If they think a pitch called a ball was actually a strike, that's going to come from the catcher. There will be maybe a handful of pitchers that teams trust.
Yeah, to be a guy who's got a good eye
to challenge it. And obviously, it'll be interesting to see which batters...
Yeah. Who ends up being the aggressive guys
you only
who's
get
called a certain way.
Yeah, you only get, what do you get, 2?
You get 2 a game. If you're successful, you keep them. So you just keep with your 2 all game. But the second you lose 1, then you're down to your last 1. And then all of a sudden it's that.
So what's the strategy? Who has carte blanche and who needs to wait until it's a significant moment?
In order to be able to challenge.
In order to use it.
So you mentioned there, so to signal it, the pitcher, the catcher, the batter will tap his hat or its helmet. That'll let the umpire know. It has to be immediate. And there is no communication allowed with the dugout. So you don't have, this is why they don't want you to okay, we watched the pitch in the dugout, holler out, that was a ball, and then you tap your helmet. That's not allowed. It's an immediate, catcher grabs it before he even throws it back, before anybody else moves, you got to announce that you're going to challenge the call. In extra innings, a team will be awarded a challenge for each remaining inning if they've lost
you will
them.
start the inning with 1, no matter what.
So you'll get 10th inning, here's 1, 11th inning, you get another one. You'll always have 1 in extra innings, which I like. Keep them around for the extra innings part of it. And of course, it's powered by T-Mobile, don't you know? 5G, and they have their cameras everywhere. And so it's a sponsored play by baseball, which is smart on their end because you're making money on this. And the cameras are everywhere. One of the biggest issues that I have, and I'm glad that you brought up the issue that you saw in the Dodgers situation, like, I'm all for getting calls right. I do think sometimes there's a human element that we just need to live with in sports, that not everybody's perfect, and occasionally calls will go for you or against you. The biggest issue that I have at times with baseball replay officials is that it takes way too long.
Yeah.
And it's a safer, did he slide in, did he tag him at second, whatever, and you got to go put the headset on, and then and then the broadcasters are filling time, and it's like, well, I can't really tell. If you can't really tell, just move on, all right? It's a call is a call. That's the way it's going to work.
All replay systems at some point, if there's something you want to look at again, okay, fine, or somebody challenges it, there's got to be a time limit. If you can't figure it out within a minute and a half, 2 minutes, the call stands.
Yeah, that's even aggressive for me. I'd say 45. By the time you start looking at it, I'll give you 45 seconds. If there's not enough evidence in there, move on. That's the one thing I'm curious to see how it works
and
out.
that should go across all sports.
All
And the NBA
sports.
is the worst.
All sports.
So the only thing that the NBA needs to take more time with, or Major League Baseball needs to take more, is if there's a flat-out brawl melee and you're trying to figure out, who threw punches, who's getting tossed out,
who's
sort of
getting
thing.
doubled. Yeah, exactly.
That's a different. But if it's an on-court,
it could go either way.
Okay,
Whatever.
give the technical guys a minute to find the right angle, and then. Yeah, if you've got the best angle and you can't tell, call stands.
Yes, it's the way it should be. And so I'll be curious how long it takes when they do these challenges. If it's seamless the way it's been the majority of spring training, it's going to be so well received, man.
It wasn't people standing around for 45 seconds before it popped
15,
up.
20 seconds, so was,
I just noticed it was taking a hair longer than it did in spring training.
Yeah, that's not nothing. That's 15, 20 seconds is that's a bit. And we're a very fast-paced society now.
In spring training, it was there was a tap. The umpire said, Dodgers are the pitch was called a ball. Dodgers are challenging.
You look up at the jumbotron. There it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
The call is confirmed or the call is overturned. Dodgers have 2 challenges remaining, and you're right back to it.
Yeah, so listener, it was Kevin Biggio was at the plate. So if you want to see what you can't do, go watch a highlight of him last week, because he kind of tossed his bat up in the air, then tried to challenge a call, and they're like, no, dude, you got to do it right away.
They're keeping the play moving, and that pitch clock starts as soon as the ball goes back to the pitcher.
Yes, it's got to be quick. So I'll be curious to see how it works out. Excited for the start of baseball season, even though it's not really the start of baseball season, but it is kind of the start of baseball season. Let's make our long-awaited Divisional ALCS, NLCS World Series picks. Now, here's the gist. Here's what we need here. I have, let me scroll down. Who do we have Sprague in for? I have his picks.
Sweet.
Now, we're letting the audience pick these.
Nice.
We gave him
we gave him the Mariners and the Braves.
The Mariners and the Braves. What I need from you, the listener, is I need an AL West winner. I don't think we have an AL West winner.
Yeah, that's the Mariners.
Oh, okay, that's right. We're going to give the Mariners. That's right. So all I need is an NL Central winner. Every other winner I have.
I thought we got.
And not NL. We gave White Sox. Somebody texted in White Sox for AL Central. We have Yankees for AL East, Mariners for AL West, Braves for NL East, and somebody texted in the Giants for the NL West.
I thought somebody texted in the Pirates.
Did we? Oh, that's right. Maybe somebody did. I'll scroll back. So I think
that was early in the show.
So we'll go through all those. We'll make our picks, and then what storylines are we most excited for now that baseball is nearly upon us? That is next on The Fan. All right, is this a game changer for traveling? I'll explain that story and what came out yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up bottom of the hour. I have a player in the NBA who was asking for something to be changed, and I think he has a strong argument. And then we'll go to Houston at the top of the hour with our buddy Josh Peterson. Lots still to get to over the next hour and 40 minutes. But baseball is upon us, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Everybody's excited. Start of baseball. Hope springs eternal. Everybody's undefeated as of right now until you lose, and then it's all over. Jordan with a good point at the fan text line, noted Yankee fan Jordan, saying, so Swag hates the Yankees more than anything. How is that possible when you literally are the Yankees now?
No, we're not the Yankees.
You're not the Yankees.
No.
You're not. You don't spend more money than everybody else, and
no.
Have billions of dollars in deferred money, and all your talent's homegrown, huh? Where'd Mookie start? Where'd Freddie start? Where'd Shohei start? It's okay. You can embrace being the evil empire. It's
I don't
a good
mind
thing.
being the
You
target,
are the Yankees now.
But we're...
How are you not the Yankees? Explain that to me.
I don't...
You got nothing.
No.
You're the Yankees. Okay. You've won back-to-back championships. It's okay. I don't understand.
Only won like 8 or 9 of them in the franchise's history.
Sure.
Yankees have like 26.
Yeah, and you look, a dozen of them happened before color television existed, and they aren't real, okay? Count your championships from 1922. Congratulations.
I've been alive for 5 of them.
Nobody cares about your titles in 1914, Yankees fans. I'll just tell you that much. The ones in the late 90s matter.
Do.
You shouldn't because it's stupid. You weren't alive for it. I don't brag about 9 or Super Bowl championships that I wasn't alive to watch. You've seen 5. That's great. I've seen the Giants win 3. It's an incredible feeling. Yeah. I don't brag about 1952 when they were in New York. I wasn't alive. I don't care. I didn't get to see it. I'm not going to brag about that. This idea of you being this like little engine that you're like sheepish.
No,
we're not. Like,
I don't.
You are
that.
the evil empire of the sport. You know that, right?
There's nothing evil about what they're doing.
There literally is, Swigard. You're dominating the sport and winning championships. Name the last time there was a team that won multiple championships in a sport in a row that we didn't end up hating.
I understand.
We all hate you.
Well, you're jealous.
Yes.
Okay.
Embrace it. Acting like you're not the Yankees? What reality are you living in, Swag? You've signed every big free agent over the last 4 years in the sport. Every single big one is signed with the Dodgers.
We didn't go get
You
Soto.
had no money to spend this offseason, and you went out and got the biggest bat on the open market.
There you go.
Verlander's still a big free agent. He's 47 years old.
Came to Houston.
God, we didn't get Juan Soto, therefore we're not the Yankees. Get the hell out of here. I hate everything about your team. The part that drives me most nuts is your inability to embrace it. There is nothing that I loved more when the Giants won their 3 titles in 5 years. When Sakanik used to rant to me about how much he hated my team, I loved it. I just laugh because I know it comes from a point of jealousy. That's all it is. We just want to be in your shoes. Sure. We want to be on the run that you're on right now. And be the villain. You need to be a villain, Swag. There's your lesson of the day, all right? Embrace it. You're the evil empire.
I'm working on a scar now.
Yes, you are.
Look like a bomb.
You fit the role.
Exactly.
All right, before we make our picks, ran over, I need from you, what are the most exotic food items that we have across Major League Baseball ballparks this year?
Well, we've got a lot of desserts. Let me go find the link I sent to use.
Desserts are the big one now, huh? I mean, desserts are always big every year.
Yeah.
They're a big deal.
So you've got the one down at the Diamondbacks actually looks pretty good.
Okay, what are they throwing on the
Take
menu?
Me Out to the Ball Game shake. So you've got salted caramel ice cream shake with whipped cream. You've got Nutter Butter sandwich cookies and Kit Kat bars and Cracker Jack sticking out of it.
I mean, I would eat that, yeah.
You're sharing that, like,
you're getting
that you're getting for your kids.
Yeah, and they're not going to eat all of it, and you're grabbing spoonfuls.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would munch on that. Hot day,
the one that I'm, this might get me to go to a Marlins game because the baseball's not.
No.
The machete is a 2-foot homemade flour tortilla griddled on a flat top, melted mozzarella, Oaxaca cheeses, house marinated carne asada, smoky guajillo pepper sauce, salsa verde, and cilantro.
How much of that could you eat?
That you're splitting that with a buddy.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even almost 3.
If you had a foot-long taco.
Yeah, that's a big taco.
It's a big taco.
I don't need that much taco, but I do love tacos.
But but if it's carne asada and as opposed to Like the poutine, the lobster poutine.
Yes.
That's good. That's just a brick in your stomach sitting there.
Dude, that's not going to end
So
well.
they got...
Your third inning will not be fun if you get that
you need
before
to
the
eat
game
that
starts.
pregame. You're getting there early. That's the day you're getting early for
batting
ballpark.
Practice, yeah.
Because you're sitting... You got seats in the Monster.
Yeah, before
So
all
you
the-
want to get there for batting practice. That's what you're having first, so that if you need to take care of anything before the game starts, you have some time.
Yes, you got to make sure you clear the system.
So that's fries with fresh lobster meat, chowder for the gravy, and bacon.
Oh, my God.
Now sign me up for that.
That sounds fantastic.
It sounds wonderful.
I mean, I would sprint to the bathroom. It wouldn't take very long to get there. But yeah, I that's of all the ones that I could eat the entire thing of, that's one that I could probably eat the entire thing of.
Yeah, if you had enough time.
Like if you have enough time and you have a full, like an empty stomach and a full appetite and you're ready to go, I could probably devour
the Nationals have the DC Monument Chicken Tower.
Okay.
So you have a grilled chicken breast, smoked bacon, mixed greens, chipotle ranch, Gruyere cheese on a soft pretzel bun.
Yeah.
This actually looks...
yeah.
I mean, I can do without the extra gherkins or pickles on top, but that one actually looks pretty tasty.
That sounds really good.
Now, the Mariners are having fun because they're celebrating the 75th year of the Washington State ferry system.
Okay.
So they've got a little commemorative ferry, and in the middle, so they're doing fish and chips. They were doing some sort of crab dip with chips or something like that. So you can get like 3 different things. I think you get chicken tenders in there if you want on fries.
Who doesn't love a good tender?
And then they had like cocktail sauce and tartar sauce.
On each end of the boat?
On each end of the
ferry?
boat.
Okay.
So you get the commemorative ferry.
And then you take the ferry home with you? So that's like it's a take-home item? All right.
So there you go. Like you take Teddy Ball game up.
Yeah, dude, here's a boat.
You go to a Pickles game. You go to a Hops game. It's like, all right, he can make it through a 3-hour ball game without like melting down.
Let's test the waters before we go on the road for 4 hours.
So now he's got the little boat to play with about the 5th inning where you can keep them occupied. Now, the one that's over the top for me is the Schwarbomb Sundae that the Phillies are offering.
The Schwarbomb Sundae?
So it's in the little helmet. And so it's got soft serve ice cream with a funnel cake, fried strawberry Uncrustable, fresh strawberry sauce, and fruity cereal pieces.
I'm out on that one. That's
the
one I
one
don't
where
wanna
they
try.
just went in the cupboard and threw crap
mash it all together and see if it tastes good. I'm out on that. I want to know, like, you know what a really fun segment would be?
The best dessert, however, I saw, this is with the Rockies. They've got the Glazilla, too, which is a 2-foot-long hot dog. It looks like it's got mac and cheese and other stuff on it.
Yes. I'm down for that.
You can go with that. The Dubai Cinnamon Roll. It's a giant cinnamon roll drizzled with chocolate, vanilla ice cream, pistachios, caramel puff cereal, and katafli. I'm not sure if I'm reading that right. That thing looks delightful.
Dynamite.
You know what? If I want dessert, I'm splitting it.
Yeah, you can't
if
eat the entire
the whole thing.
Very few of these could I actually eat the entire thing, but I'd be down to try with buddies. I don't even know where you would begin to look into this. I would love the idea of having, like, who's in charge of these? Whose job is it to cook these up every offseason?
Well,
like,
usually you
what can we throw together that would make sense that we could put into a food item?
Well, there's a company, Aramark, has contracts to do concessions at a lot of ballparks. They have a lot of major league ballparks. So they are probably in consultation then with a marketing person with the ball club.
Like, how do I get that job? Let's try this, and this together and see if it tastes good.
Yeah, so
I want to be the guy that comes up with these
the
items.
lobster poutine for the Red Sox.
That's probably the one that sounds
Luke's
most
lobster
appetizing.
meat, clam chowder, crispy bacon, crispy Cavendish Farms fries.
I'm going to go that and then the machete. Those are my top two. I would
so.
want to try.
Yeah, those are doing it for me. So
we already have a Mariner fan saying they're going to go get the souvenir ferry tomorrow at the game.
There you go.
Show me your ferry. Tweet me your ferry. I want to see what it looks like. How big are we talking? You know, what are we looking at here? So happy food season, everybody. We didn't get our picks in there. We'll get our picks in the final hour of the show.
I don't know. I'm curious to see. We've got a dress rehearsal with the Hops.
Yeah, seems right
next week for their grand opening on the 7th in the new ballpark. I'm anxious to see if I'll know kind of if there's any new sort of
they'll do something fun.
Items.
Stay tuned for that later for Stat or Story. I got something for you.
Oh, okay.
That, it's welcome news after a conversation we've had.
I have giant stuff for you instead.
Look at you. We'll see if I know the stat. That'd be pretty embarrassing if I didn't. Let's get to a game changer for travel, or is this getting overblown? If you didn't see the news yesterday, I'll tell you who's doing it and what they're doing, and we'll talk about it next. But first, here's Swag with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Blazers and Bucks at Moda Center tonight, 7 o'clock tip. Portland continues their 4-game homestand against the NBA's bottom feeders, trying to catch the Clippers, who are a half game ahead of them for the 8th spot in the Western Conference. 7 o'clock on Xfinity Channel 1016. Portland 12.5-point favorites. Major League opening night is tonight, but just for one game. It's the Yankees and Giants from San Francisco, 5:05 first pitch on Netflix. Max Fried, Logan Webb, your scheduled starters. The Ducks baseball team, now 20th in the country. They had a 6-0 shutout last night. They one-hit the UC San Diego Tritons. Same two teams this afternoon, 3:05. You'll hear it on our sister station, 910 ESPN Portland. Pre-game coverage at 2:45. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for
Hey, right now, if you text the word Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y, to 503-864-6326, you're in for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Bobby Lee September 18th of 2026. That's this upcoming September at the Elsinore Theater in Salem. You can go to 1051thefan.com for complete details. Text Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y, 503-864-6326 to go see Bobby Lee September 18th at the Elsinore Theater in Salem. An NBA player making an argument that I think he's making a good point. We'll tell you what that is and what he's arguing coming up here in a moment. And our friend from Omaha, currently in Houston, Josh Peterson, will join us at the top of the hour to talk about the Huskers, who I think are the top story of the tournament remaining. Maybe you disagree with that, but they never won a tournament game before. They're in the Sweet 16, and he's joining us live from Houston ahead of their Sweet 16 game tomorrow. I mentioned a couple times, so I'm going to Hawaii next week. Very excited. Tropical vacation is due. It's the first time we've done anything big since the kiddo was born. Like we've done, Sun River, or go to the coast, or a lot of local stuff. We were supposed to do a big trip last summer, and we were going to go to Philly and New York and check out some stuff in the Northeast for a week. And then we had to cancel the trip because we had this little FM flip that was in the works, and it was like literally the week that we were flipping.
There you go.
I was scheduled to be in Philadelphia, and so I canceled the trip. And we've been thinking about doing something, and I didn't really know what to get the wife for Christmas, so I was like, you know what, whatever. Let's get something I can enjoy, too. Let's go to Hawaii. So we're going to Hawaii next week. Very excited. But we're flying with a 2-year-old for the first time, and I got to admit, I'm terrified of how this is going to go. He's a busybody, doesn't like sitting still. He likes moving.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to get him up early. I don't know what the TSA lines are like at Portland right now at the PDX airport.
So far, when I was going to Vegas and coming back,
no issues?
Not an issue.
Let me know if you've been through TSA in the last couple of days.
But that was 3 weeks ago.
So I don't know when that whole thing started to bubble over. I know it's bad in certain parts of the country. But I digress. Very excited, but terrified of flying with him. And then I see something yesterday, and I think to myself, oh my God, that looks like a genius idea. But I also, am I overhyping this? So I'm not the biggest United Airlines guy. I don't fly a lot of United Airlines.
I've flown them a lot recently.
Right, mostly Alaska. Alaska and Hawaiian merge. We do a lot of Alaska.
We're
flying
some
Alaska
Delta here and there.
Right, Delta occasionally. Don't fly a lot of United. But United announced something yesterday. And is this a ruse that we're just buying too much into, or is this actually a game changer for flying? We'll ask Jason Swigard that question.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming you didn't see the story.
No.
They are announcing what is called the United Relax Row. Okay. And it's 3 adjacent economy seats. So you're sitting in economy, 3 seats together that you can buy. And when you buy those 3 seats, the legs underneath the seats essentially fold up and go into the seat in front of you, turning it into one large mattress area. So if you are flying on a long flight and you wanted to be able to lay down, you could buy a row of seats if you want, flip up the seats. You can
buy all 3.
You can buy all 3 if you want, or if you're traveling with kids or your significant other, like if you have 2 kids or 1 kid and a wife, like you could be in a row that you fold the seats up, and it turns into basically a bed type situation. Now they're also saying you can get a mattress pad that goes with it. I'm sure that'll cost you more. A blanket, which airline blankets, no thank you. Don't touch those things. And 2 pillows. And if you can get a plushie if you're traveling with a kid as well. They're saying it'll be available next year. I saw this, and as somebody who's going to be traveling with a 2-year-old next week, I thought, God, that would be a game changer.
I think it's like a Hawaii flight.
Yeah,
definitely.
For a lengthier flight, you think it's a bigger deal?
If you're flying cross country, 4, 5, 6 hours, absolutely.
Okay. Shorter flights.
Shorter flights, not sure that's going to make all that much of a difference. If you're flying down to San Francisco or something, I think more, if you got a video screen and if they think it's cool to look out the window and it's clear you're not in the clouds and they can see everything.
Right.
You're probably fine for an hour and a half.
The interesting part is I'm curious if
this is going to go poorly. For the reason that you all know about.
Hold on. Hey, what's that sound back there, Dad? Dad. What's going on in 12C right now, buddy? I think he's porking her, Dad. Easy rust. I mean, you're not wrong. Wait for it. There it is.
Especially if you've got a red eye somewhere.
You better turn those noise canceling headphones
all
on.
the lights are out.
Yeah, you can't really see what's going on.
Can't really see. You think they're just spooning.
That's a really good point that I didn't think about. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a really good point that didn't even cross my mind. As somebody who'll be traveling with a 2-year-old or a young child for years to come, that did not
families,
not even cross my mind.
Families, big deal. But I can't wait for the first
chew it and
complaints.
Do it. What's that sound back there? What are they clapping about? Is the movie over?
Yeah.
What movie were they watching? It must have been a really good one. Yeah, that's a really good point. I also thought to myself, so in theory, if you're traveling with 3, I get it. Like kids, when you see the pictures of like of somebody laying down with the kids,
if you have
totally
parents and a young child, or a parent and 2 youngerish kids,
yeah,
could be great because it's hard to get them to sit in that sitting position
right
for a long time. So if they can just kind of have room to wiggle.
Yeah, move around a little bit. And they can do it a little bit on the floor, but it's not quite the same,
They can stand
right?
up a little bit. It's not that big of a deal.
Right. Put them
Parent will be on the aisle to, play goalie and,
right. Keep them in the row.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere, don't go anywhere, don't go anywhere.
But no,
God,
you started mentioning that, and I was like, oh, man. How long is it going to take for the first report? You want to talk about going viral?
Oh, somebody will do it right out of the gate. That's the way it works.
Jimmy from Lincoln.
Exactly.
Yeah, I also thought, too, like the idea of laying down is great, but if you're flying by yourself, buying 3 tickets to lay down, wouldn't it be more cost-effective to just buy a first-class seat? Like, if you have that kind of money to spend. Now, I don't know what the comfort is of being able to lay down or not lay down in first class. I don't think I've ever flown first class, to be honest with you.
So delightful.
I can imagine. Room and space and a warm towelette and a glass of champagne and real food. It sounds incredible. But yeah, like if you're going to buy in it like 3 rows and 3 seats in the same rows, that's an expensive flight. Right. So I would just go buy a first class seat before then. But
I would think so.
Maybe you can't fully lay down, and you wanted to be able to fully lay down.
So,
also, the full row, like this is a benefit of being my height traveling because I don't have leg issues when I sit down. I'm a tiny guy. Also, I could have the ability to lay down. If you lay down across a row, how scrunched up are you before your feet go into the row?
Well, I had flying back from Vegas, the flight wasn't full, so I actually had a row.
You had a whole row to yourself.
I had a whole row. It was fantastic.
That's the dream,
but even so, if I sat, my back was against to the window.
Yes, you're leaning back against the window.
And I put my feet were hanging over
so
the
that's
third
just sitting
seat.
Up, too.
That's just
not
sitting up. That's
down.
not lying down.
So you're in a little ball if you're laying down.
Yeah.
Tall people are going to have an issue with this.
So, no, that is more, I think, geared
benefits.
towards families with younger kids.
Yeah.
And that I see.
That is
But
somebody's going to be back there.
You, your girl, and your Johnson.
Exactly.
Calm down, all right? Calm down. Row 27, seat C. We can hear you up here, okay? You're making a lot of noise.
You started explaining that in like 20 seconds. I'm like, oh, this is going to end poorly.
Game changer for flying, or is this overblown? And are you worried about people having sex behind you? 503-864-6326. We'll go to Houston coming up top of the hour. Next, though, an NBA player makes an argument that I think he's got a great point, and I'm going to back him up. We'll talk about it. What's his argument next on The Fan?
Big hits, big bets, big plays.
Today I'm laying the big wood.
This is the Layin' Wood Report, brought to you by Mr. Plywood, serving Portland for over 50 years.
Can I use this as a game-type practice situation? Oh, my goodness.
20 made 3-pointers for the Hornets.
That was last night. Talk about a team that's playing good ball, and they have been really for a long time. Are the Charlotte Hornets going to make some noise in the NBA playoffs? They made 26 three-pointers last night. That's the most threes made in a game this season and tied for the most made in a game in team history. They beat the Kings. The Kings put out a statement after the game on social media, said, if you want to see the final score, just go to NBA.com. We're not going to post it. Kings are stinging it up. Hornets rolling. Laying the Wood. And Laying the Wood is brought to you by Mr. Plywood, serving Portland for over 60 years. Delivery, custom cutting, and special orders. Visit them at MrPlywoodInc.com or their location on Southeast Stark Street. All right, Josh Peterson coming up top of the hour, 10 minutes from now, live in Houston, getting ready for Nebraska in the Sweet 16. Fun story. Getting all the way there. So that's coming up. We got Saturday story in the last hour as well. We'll make our baseball picks right around the corner. The NBA season's still going on. I've kind of mentally checked out until the playoffs begin. I know the Blazers have clinched their spot in the play-in, so that is official. I just, the other stuff going on. Baseball starting. Sweet 16 will tip off tomorrow. I got some other things on the front burner for me, and then a Hawaiian vacation next week, and I'm not going to watch any NBA basketball. But there is a story out there that I was intrigued by, and I think the player is making a really strong argument. Shout out to the NBA Players Association because they are coming out guns a-blazing against different rules and organizations. You see they filed a grievance yesterday against the Bucks for their handling of Giannis. They're saying this is Adam Silver, you're saying you don't want tanking. The Bucks are telling him not to play in order to tank when he is medically cleared to play.
Yep.
They're just shutting him down. This should not be allowed. It's just the NBA talks out of both sides of their mouth. We care about this, but we don't care about this. And another one that I think they're bringing up a great argument is the idea of the 65-game cutoff for season-long awards. So those who don't know, you got to play 65 games in order to be up for MVP, Rookie of the Year, All-NBA. And that stuff.
And it matters because it's also tied to getting to
your contract
bonuses and Supermax.
Yes, if you're an All-NBA guy, you can get a Supermax. We talked about this with Denny, of him getting to 65. It changes the financial landscape that he is in, right?
Right.
There is a certain player out there, though, who is a prime example of somebody who has done everything the right way that is getting punished by the rule that is in place, and that player is Cade Cunningham. Yeah. So Cade Cunningham this year for Detroit, they were the number one. I don't know, are they still the 1 seed, I'm assuming? They were holding on.
I think they got a 3-game lead over the Celtics.
Okay, so they're holding on. I don't know when he's going to be back.
I think they've won their 3 games. They beat the Lakers.
I saw him beat the Lakers the other night. He has a collapsed lung, and we don't know how long he's going to be out for, but probably the rest of the regular season. Time will tell on that.
Certainly not anything they're rushing him back from.
Nor should you. He is averaging 25 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds a game, shooting 46% from the floor.
They have a 5-game lead over the Celtics and Knicks.
So he is the best player on the team who's going to be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs likely. He is going to be up for something. Now, what is he going to win? I don't know, but an All-NBA selection, without a doubt, will be coming the direction of Cade Cunningham.
Should be, yeah.
Not so fast, my friends, because at the point he got hurt, Cade Cunningham played in
61 games.
61 games. He is 4 games shy of the threshold. He is out for a legitimate injury concern, a collapsed lung, not, we're sitting him, we're load managing. This is a legitimate injury.
He's not playing in back-to-backs or anything like that. Dude was out there balling every night.
He fell on the court and collapsed his lung landing on a basketball, and he's going to miss a couple of weeks because of it. And the Players Association has filed a grievance basically saying, this is ridiculous. It's going to hurt him financially, and he is the prime example of why this rule should go away.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a blanket, it should all go away, or if we do case by case, but he certainly has a strong argument.
Well, anytime that you have something that is left up to, you have voting. So if you limit the voting, like you curate the voting pool, it's not wide so it becomes a popularity contest, or you make sure that the people that are voting are the right people to be voting, whether part of it is internally from players in front offices and coaches, and then, media writers who are part of the Basketball Writers Association and are credentialed and followed the league and all of that sort of stuff. Then I don't necessarily think it matters too much if there is an actual minimum number of games played. Now, maybe I don't know. You're parsing, and anytime you do something arbitrary, there's always going to be an unintended consequence, so there's always going to be an exception to the rules. Like this person's getting screwed because of this rule that was meant to curb, this over here, and then something happened we didn't anticipate.
Yeah, I think the point is valid of if you have voters who can see through the nuance, I don't know if you need a restriction, right? Like not everybody's load managing and not playing is the same. Some guys deal with legitimate injuries, and I would hope if you're a voter for an award and if this restriction wasn't in place, you would have the ability to look at it and say, Cade Cunningham did everything right. He had a great year. He deserves to be an All-NBA guy, despite the number of games that he played. It seems like a really easy solution here, but to your point, there are always unintended consequences, and somebody's going to have to pay for that because Cade Cunningham, it's going to hurt him financially. Was he All-NBA last year? Do you remember?
Ooh.
Because I know he had a very good year. Let me see if I can find if he was All-NBA last year. Because if that's the case, I mean, he's up for certain levels of extensions, and I don't know if it gets more the more times you are All-NBA. He was not. He was 13 All-NBA. Oh yeah, he was 13 All-NBA last year.
So yeah, third team. So you're good.
So you're good. And then he would have likely been. He played 70 games last year. His numbers were nearly identical. Yeah. So and they're the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So he's looking at a second team All-NBA kind of recognition. He deserves it, and other accolades that come with it. I think it's a great point on voters having the nuance of understanding what's going on and taking it by a case-by-case basis of you just chose to play 53 games this year because you didn't want to, like you were scared, you didn't want to play or whatever.
Right.
That's different than a guy who played 60-plus games, collapsed lung, now he's out for the year. He should not be punished the same way.
And you don't, so now do they, what's Cade trying to do? To try and come back and maybe play in 4 last games?
He might at the end of the regular season.
Or do they manipulate it the other way where, okay, we're going to have him in there for the opening tip and then we're pulling him immediately?
Yes, there are minutes in the game.
Does that qualify for 65 games?
Which is stupid that you even have to consider that.
Exactly, but it's like, okay, there's no rule that says we can't do this, so we're going to do this, so then we'll leave it up to the voters at that point. But because I think you're not even eligible, you're not on a ballot, you can't be voted for.
Right.
The other way. So we'll see if the Pistons pull any shenanigans. I wouldn't blame them for doing it.
Nor him, because he deserves the money that comes with it. He's been a great player.
Can he suit up if he's not medically cleared? Like I don't.
Yeah.
You never want to have the league start to manipulate rules on the medical side of things. That's something you don't want to set a precedent of doing.
Right.
But I understand if the Pistons try to go that route to get their guy qualified for everything he should be in the running for.
Wouldn't blame him at all if they wanted to do it. We'll see how the NBA wants to handle it. I think they're making a pretty valid argument. He should be up for season-ending awards. We got a lot to get to. Final hour of the show, status story, 9:15. We didn't make our baseball picks earlier, so we'll make those. We'll tell you what Sprague's picks are, thanks to the listeners who have made all his picks for him today. We start, though, down in Houston. Our friend Josh Peterson's going to hop on. They're getting ready to play Nebraska. It's the Sweet 16 for the first time in program history, and they're taking on a rival in doing so. And Josh Peterson will start the final hour next on 105.1 FM The Fan.
You love From the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Blazers trying to take advantage of another NBA bottom feeder tonight at Moda Center. The Milwaukee Bucks in town for a 7 o'clock tip on KUNP, Xfinity Channel 1016. Portland begins play a half game behind the Clippers for 8th in the West. They're 12.5-point favorites. Opening night in the major leagues will give you one game tonight and one game only. It's on Netflix. It's by the Bay as the Giants host the Yankees. 5:05 first pitch, Max Fried, Logan Webb, your scheduled starter. The Portland Thorns back on the road looking for their first win away from Providence Park this season. They're in San Diego to battle the Wave. It's a 7:07 p.m. kickoff. You can hear this one on our sister station, 94.7 KNRK HD Channel 2. Our pregame coverage will begin at 6:45. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of primetime with
Tomorrow, the Sweet 16 is here. It is Sweet 16 Eve. And I don't know about you guys. I think the story of the tournament so far has been Nebraska. They won their first ever tournament game. They're the only Power 4 conference team to have never won a tournament game. They finally got that monkey off their back. And then not only did they win their first tournament game ever, they backed it up and they won another one. And now they're in the Sweet 16. And so we thought, what a great place to go of all the places we could go. That's got to be the best one. And joining us now is our good friend Josh Peterson at Josh Tweederson on Twitter. Go give him a follow. Unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone in Omaha, who is now down in Houston. Let me ask you, we'll start here, Josh. I'm flying next week. I'm going to Hawaii on a vacation. What's the flying experience like? Did you get grabbed by any ICE agents on your way through? How was it from Omaha to Houston this morning?
Boys, great to hear from you. Dirt, nice humble brag heading out to Hawaii. Congratulations to you.
No big deal.
No, I was not detained, which was good. I will say this though, we didn't land in Houston. We're flying into Houston, and suddenly I see the airport, and the plane starts going faster, and then we circle back to the airport, and the plane goes faster again. We landed an hour after we were supposed to. They say because of fog. So I didn't see like the crazy lines here. We flew into Bush, which is where it's been nuts this week with the 5-hour wait. So I didn't see any of that. So Lord help me. I hope that it's not the case on Sunday when I'm trying to go back to Omaha.
Well, at least if you get a couple of wins out of it, it'll make waiting in line a little bit better, and your team's going, like, hey, we got a Final Four in our hands here, all right? Like, it means maybe there will be a positive in your waiting in line. I never thought in a million years, I got to be honest with you, buddy, we've had you on multiple times. Nebraska's in at Oregon this year. We got a Nebraska-Oregon football game. We have the Dylan Raiola revenge game, which you bet your ass I'm going to ask you about Dylan Raiola in a moment. I never thought I'd do an interview with somebody on Nebraska basketball. I've followed Nebraska sports closely because of family connections my entire life. The only team to never win a tournament game, they finally did it. What's the reaction been? And are you guys embracing you're now, like you in Indiana have a Freaky Friday thing going on with them good at football and you good at basketball?
First of all, I don't think I've ever done an interview about basketball. I'm realizing right now. This is the first time I've ever been asked, can you come on the show to talk hoops? So we're living in a different world. I was in Oklahoma City. It was incredible to see the atmosphere and the result and everything that came to be. And to answer the most important question, I definitely think something has happened with Indiana and Nebraska just trading the sports that they are good at. I'm trying to figure out, are we in 2025 Indiana football right now, or is it 2024 Indiana football where it's like, whoa, look at this team out of nowhere? Because if so, like, that means we're setting up for a 40-0 national championship 2027. So that should be really exciting. But it has been it's odd, every year around October when I realize, oh, that's right, we got to start talking basketball. I'll ask like the beat writers, hey, so what's the expectation this year? Like, challenging for the tournament, and that's what everybody said a few months ago. And then they get off to the rip-roaring 20-0 start. They climb as high as 5 in the country, and yet there's still this weird, but they've never won a tournament game hanging over everything. It has been the craziest ride that I can remember in my dozen years covering Nebraska athletics for 1620.
That's a good point on what stage of the Indiana football storyline are you at, because you might have an ass kicking coming your way if it's last year's Indiana, but you got next year to look forward to. I remember making those jokes in football season because Indiana was undefeated as the season was going on, and we're like, we don't follow college basketball that closely, especially when Oregon and Oregon State are terrible, and they're both terrible right now. Just looking at the standings being like, wait a minute, Nebraska's undefeated? What is what bizarre world? And then Indiana wins the national title game, and here we are. Nebraska is in the Sweet 16. Let me ask you on the over the years tournament games, so we just kind of put up with it. What's the fan base following like, and how many have jumped on the proverbial bandwagon here in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, so I've always described it as kind of like that hipster who tells you about the band that I was into them before they were famous, before that big album blew up. I grew up in Omaha, and so I didn't go to a Nebraska basketball game until I got to college, because it wasn't like the scene, I guess, for me. Like my family, we liked them, but we weren't living and dying with them. Fast forward to college, my best friends, who I've now been friends with since college, I got this group chat, and they're always talking about hoops. I'm like, who are these people? Also, why would you care this much about Nebraska basketball? I truly did not understand it. So, there's always been this huge faction. People go to games. They've been selling out PBA for years, the arena that opened up about a dozen years ago. There is a hardcore fan base. There are definitely a lot more that have jumped on, and for a variety of reasons. I think, one, the story, right, wanting to end the streak of no NCAA tournament wins. The other, I do think I heard somebody say it on the radio or a podcast this morning, and that was the idea of man, football's really made me mad. I want to follow something else that makes me happy. And this team has been very likable. The Fred Hoiberg story, it's been a really fun ride, and it's finally this men's sports team that feels like it's delivered. Football has not. Baseball has won a couple of conference tournaments, but no offense, but it's just college baseball. This is the second most popular program on campus. I would say ahead of volleyball for third. But they've been a wagon for, 30 years. This obviously program has not done that until this season. And so I think everybody wants to be along for the ride, and I'm really curious to see how that shows itself in Houston over the next few days.
I love that. We just want to be happy, man. I just want something to make anything just make me happy, please. And they're doing it right now. So at least they're delivering. Josh Peterson, our guest, 1620 The Zone in Omaha. He's down in Houston getting ready. Nebraska in the Sweet 16. On the note of who they're playing, it's almost funny that now it's a rivalry game, and I believe Kevin Harlan's on the call of the game, and I think his roots are he's kind of a Midwest guy. So for those who don't know, Nebraska and Iowa, what are we taught? What's the level of animosity here? Does it exist in basketball the way that it does in football, and how much more juice does that add to the game?
Yeah, I don't know if it does exist to that level, but because of the football stuff, it's definitely carrying over, and Iowa, they've had Nebraska's number. I mean, and obviously in football over the last decade plus, but even in basketball, when they won that game in the middle of February or whenever it was in Iowa City, fans storm the floor. A guy comes up to Fred Hoiberg with a phone in his face, and he yells "nice game, buddy" at him. And at that moment in time, Nebraska had only won twice. I think it was in 11 tries or something like that. So people they don't like Iowa, and me in Omaha, I am right next door to Iowa. Council Bluffs is, a 5-minute drive, if that, from the radio station. I have a lot of listeners of the Iowa Hawkeyes. My producer is an Iowa fan. So, we are talking about a group that is very much ready to hold this result over the head of the others. I've been saying over the last few days on the radio, I would be stunned, and this is an obvious statement, so forgive me, but I would be stunned if Nebraska and Iowa ever played a bigger basketball game than this one. I'd be stunned, honestly, just given the state of Nebraska football and the programs in general, if the Nebraska athletic department and the Iowa athletic department ever play in a game as big as the one that we are about to watch tomorrow night. So you're talking about long-time scoreboard. It's almost like a lesser man's version of the North Carolina-Duke Final Four game. North Carolina will be able to hold that above the head of Duke for the rest of time, not only because they beat them in the Final Four, but that it was Coach K's last game. Again, this isn't that level because historically these programs are not that. But, oh my gosh, if Nebraska wins, no matter what happens next year, Iowa won't be able to talk trash, and vice versa. I mean, Iowa would love love to ruin the greatest season in the history of Nebraska basketball.
It is, yeah, it's such a good point to be able to hold that over there. Because how often are you going to meet in the Sweet 16 against a team from your conference, right? Like, just the chances of that happening are very rare. So you'll always play every year in conference play, but it's just different when you get to this point and you end their season. Last one on Nebraska ball and on the Indiana comparison I need to ask about, and that is, you mentioned you were in Oklahoma City. The atmosphere, like the Vanderbilt players coming out and being like, yeah, cool, we get to play a road game in round 2 of the tournament was really funny. And we experienced that out here because we played the new Nebraska football, aka Indiana, in Atlanta in the Sugar Bowl or whatever, Peach Bowl, I think it is, in the semifinal game. And I will never forget the reaction from people who were down there who got into the stadium and just thought to themselves, "Oh my God, this is like 87,000 Indiana fans and 2,000 Oregon fans," and people saying they've never been in a louder venue and they throw a pick six on the first play, it erupts, right? Is that what we're expecting in Houston? Are you guys, because Nebraska fan travels well. We know you're going to beat Autzen this year and the fan base will take over. Are you like taking over Houston right now? Is that what is expected?
Yeah, I think so. You know, one of my colleagues here in Omaha, he lived in Houston for the longest time, so he has a really good handle on the city and the kind of sports fans that are down here. And he's been covering Nebraska. He's been in Nebraska for about 20 years or so. He thinks there are going to be more Nebraska fans than Houston fans in the building tomorrow night. The flights are crazy. I mean, I was driving back and hooking my laptop up to my phone's cell service on Sunday, trying to book flights before they got super bonkers, and sadly I was unable to do so. Thank you to my company, Usher Media, for covering the flights down here.
Yes.
But like, we're all trying to figure that out. I think it's going to be a lot of Husker red. You know, obviously Houston's wearing red too. Their shade a little darker, I think, than Nebraska's shade of red. So I'm expecting a lot of fans. Obviously not as many as we saw last week in Oklahoma City. That was about a 6.5, 7-hour drive, depending on where you're coming from, Omaha or Lincoln or other parts of the state. This is, 12, 13 hours.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Houston airport, like that stuff, people are just like, my God, do I really want to deal with that? So we'll see how many decide to. Flying into Dallas is like $600 cheaper, but then you have to drive 4 hours. So I think there's going to be a lot of fans. I can't wait to see the breakdown. I think there's going to be a lot of black and gold, too, because Iowa fans travel very, very well.
You guys out traveling a team who plays in the city would be pretty funny, and also pretty symbolic of what Houston is as a sports city, right? Like, it's good.
100%.
Yeah, they don't really care, right? It's like a different version of Miami and L.A. All right, let's get to the issue that more people will probably care about in our neck of the woods, that we texted when it happened. And just we got Timu Mahomes on our team now, Josh. Dylan Raiola has transferred from Nebraska to Oregon to be a backup for a year. They released a little documentary thing. Oregon football is always doing this stuff, these videos behind the scenes. And the first one was a quarterback room, and they didn't really talk to him a ton, but he was kind of mic'd up. And it's weird, dude. It's going to take a long time to get used to it. Thankfully, Dante Moore's back, so he won't be the starter this year. What was the reaction then when that went down? Was that expected to happen? Because he obviously breaks his leg against USC, a game that Nebraska wins if he stays healthy, I think. And then the rest is kind of history. So what was the reaction when it happened, and what do we need to know about Timu Mahomes?
Yeah, it's funny because the last time I talked to you before the transfer, you guys were cracking wise, and now you all have to root for him.
Yeah, so, I know. It's a really uncomfortable spot to be in, man. I know.
Yep.
I got a lot of stuff on tape, Josh. It's not good, all right?
Yeah. I think I had heard in September, October from somebody, like I'd said something to this person about Dylan, and like, and he'll be back for 26. And like, I got the look from this person who was super plugged in with the program that told me, maybe that's not going to be the case. So I was on alert for weeks before the leg injury happens. And then after that, you find out he's going to be out for the season. I was, on even higher alert. And so by the end, I wasn't surprised. I know some fans were. They, classic media being negative, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to root for him. No, it's just, this was the case. His dad was shopping him around last year, right? Like a lot of us had heard that here covering the program. So not surprised. I'm stunned that he ended up at Oregon. I really had heard the Adidas stuff was going to keep him at a Miami or a Texas A&M or one of those types of schools. I'm stunned that he ended up going to Oregon. His brother following along was the funniest thing I thought. Like that was the canary in the coal mine. His brother decommits and didn't commit anywhere else, but he decommitted right before signing day. It's like, okay, he is obviously going to leave the program when all of this goes down. And sure enough, that ended up being the case. So not surprised he transferred. Am surprised he ended up at Oregon. I am not a Dylan Raiola guy, but I will say this. If there's like one part to believe in, I think it's Dante Moore and what happened with him, right? Yeah. He sits out for a year, and then he comes in and he performs very, very well. So I think that I think there's a chance that his career turns around. I'm still a little dubious, though, just given the strengths and weaknesses that he, has as a player.
Yeah, Moore is a good example. And look, as long as you're winning, I'll look past about basically anything against, no, you're not going to let you murder people, right, like the amputee cornhole player. But I'll look past a lot of weird, cringy stuff as long as you win. If you lose, it's going to be even worse. So hopefully the winning will follow. Last one for you. It's interesting. I mean, we'll have more time to talk about football, but I remember making the argument at the time when the Penn State job opened up and Matt Rule's name got thrown out there. It was like, okay, I mean, he's good. I think it was a good hire at the time for Nebraska. It hasn't quite been over the moon in the first couple of years. But I think we had the message of, like, don't do the panic move of giving him an extension when you don't really know if he's even atop of their list of guys that they want to go get. What has been the reaction? Because the season didn't end great, and now you got maybe Calandria as the answer this year. Is there buyer's remorse on that extension that comes with like a $100 million buyout for Matt Rule?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess it kind of is split, right? Like, there's a large part of the fan base that didn't like it in the moment. They never bought it, and a lot of reporting, I know The Athletic, I think it was Ralph Russo, had some reporting that said, like, there was nothing there, and, the athletic director of Penn State and Rule are boys. Right. They go back a long ways. How much of that was a guy, looking out for another guy? So I think that there's frustration. The season ended with a thud. You mentioned the USC game. That kicked off quite a few losses to finish up the season. They ended up losing their last 3 games all by double digits. They lost 4 out of their last 5, including the USC game. And so now you enter this really pivotal year 4. The over-under dropped a couple weeks ago on FanDuel, and it was 5.5, and it was like, whoa. I think that, like, I'm really down on the team. I think they're going to be a 5-7 type group. Look at the schedule; it's super tough. They're replacing some players. It's another new defensive coordinator, a new special teams coordinator, a new quarterback. The defensive line, I don't think that they solved those problems, and so it's like it's a put up or shut up year in a way, but it's also not, because the buyout is just too much money for the program to afford right now. So, like, it's in this weird spot. I've never really covered a season, or will cover a season like this one, where I don't know what kind of consequences there would be if it ends up going sideways like I think it could.
Interesting. That's a weird spot to be in. Well, I'm sorry for bringing up sports that don't make you happy. Let's get back to the sports that make you happy. Enjoy the Sweet 16, man. We're all jealous. You guys are down in Houston. Can't wait to turn the game on. I think that's the best story of the tournament. We'll be rooting for Nebraska this weekend. Josh Peterson, 1620 The Zone in Omaha. Go give him a follow on Twitter at Josh Tweederson, live in Houston ahead of the Sweet 16. Thanks, buddy. Enjoy the trip. Hopefully you travel safe back, and let's do it again soon.
Hey, thanks, guys. Take care.
There you go. Josh Peterson from Houston via Omaha ahead of Nebraska's Sweet 16 appearance. Fun story, man. And you get a rival in the Sweet 16, too. I don't think people quite understand or comprehend how much animosity exists between Nebraska and Iowa. That's a very, very serious, especially with the Big Ten move that Nebraska made and that becoming their end of the season game, and it's not Colorado anymore. A lot on the line. Can't wait to watch that one. Tomorrow at this time, went a little long there. Stat or story time. That's next on The Fan.
When the tournament moment calls for bold, break your beak. Beak Breaker IPA from Pelican Brewing. Enough to break your beak, not your bracket.
Can't give any higher level of respect to a coach, team, program than Purdue and Matt Painter. We have our hands full. They're the most efficient offense in the country, and any team that plays them, I think, has to start with that.
There is Sean Miller on the John Rothstein podcast talking about taking on Purdue in the Sweet 16. They are the highest seeded team remaining in the tournament as a double-digit seed. Only 2 times in the history of the tournament has a team started in the first 4, made it to the Sweet 16, and then won their game. So Texas looking to become the 3rd, and that would certainly bust, I'm sure, a lot of brackets if they are to win. This weekend, or I should say this week, Bracket Buster Report brought to you by Beak Breaker IPA from Pelican Brewing, packed with citrus hops, killer aroma, smooth finish. Beak Breaker, enough to break your beak and not your bracket.
Hey, hop heads.
The numbers?
There's 6,127 students at Adams, 58% of which are girls. So that's 7,107.32 boobs.
Break the news.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Is it a stat or a story?
Evidence based on olfactory prowess is inadmissible, in case you didn't know.
This is Stat or Story, a monumental judgment call with Dirt and Sprague. Brought to you by Pioneer Heating and Cooling, locally owned and championship service since 1977 on the Fan Sports Network.
Hey, folks, it's Stat or Story time. Welcome back in. Happy Wednesday to you. Fun conversation there with Josh. I'm doing some final calculations on my numbers here. Give me 1 second.
You want me to go first?
No, hold on. Okay, hold on. I am all ready to go. I just had to make sure my numbers added up correctly.
Okay.
And now I'm ready. And before we start, we have to remind the wonderful folks out there, did you know Stat or Story is brought to you by Pioneer Heating and Cooling? Locally owned and championship service since 1977. But now that I have, you are free to begin if you would like to. We got a Dirt
first.
Johnson or a Diet Johnson here. A little bit of a shorter Stat or Story.
Okay, your number is, let me get the right number here. Where'd my thing go? 1953.
1953.
Okay. Is it the total number of players that have suited up and played in a Major League game for the San Francisco Giants in their history?
Okay.
This is according to BaseballReference.com.
According to Baseball Reference, okay.
1883, when the Giants first started playing what is considered Major League Baseball.
Yes.
All right. Or is it the first year Eggo waffles were available for purchase by consumers in supermarkets, as it is International Waffle Day?
To begin to even guess how many players have played in the history of the franchise, she said 1883 was their first technical year?
That's the first year so this is on Baseball Reference. They have all the current 30 teams.
I mean, what's the average of guys on a yearly basis?
So
they're up north of 35.
They have played from 1883 to 2025. So this doesn't include anybody that would be new starting in 2026 yet.
Okay. Because they technically have not played a game for the Giants
They technically have not played a game.
Look, I'm going to dirt logic this thing. I feel like it's got to be more than that. But maybe not. It's a long time. It's a lot of players. I just went through. They've had 20 different left fielders for the last 20 years start opening day. So I'm going to say it's more than that. And that sounds about right for when, I don't know when toasters came about, but I'd guess sometime around then. I'm going to go give me story. Was the logic correct?
1,971 players in the history of the San Francisco Giants.
It was more than what you gave me.
They have played 21,885 recorded games. They are 11,622 and 10,100. That is a .535 winning percentage. 1,522 games.
It's above 500, bitch.
Over 500. Much better than the Dodgers, who started a year later in 1884. Who are 11,525 and 10,137. So they are 1,388 over 500. The most players in baseball history, that belongs to the Atlanta Braves.
Really?
Who go back to 1876 along with the Cubs. They have had 2,165 players. Now, the team with the best or the most games over 500, that is the New York Yankees, who began in 1903. They are 2,656 games over 500 in their history.
That's not bad.
But yes, it is International Waffle Day.
I love a good waffle.
Eggo waffles available for consumer purchase in 1953, but it was the Swedes in the 1600s.
Those wonderful Swedish
people. Who were
people.
known for having a sweet tooth, who started the waffle idea with an iron and griddle, but the Swedish waffle is much thinner. Then in the 1800s, the Belgians got involved, where you got those big, thick ones with the big divots in them.
Love a good divot.
But now International Waffle Day also coincides. It's called Waffeldagen. And it corresponds with Warfrutdagen, which is the day that celebrates the Archangel Gabriel telling the Virgin Mary she will be the mother of Jesus Christ, because it's exactly 9 months before Christmas Day. So we eat the waffles on the day of Immaculate Conception to celebrate.
What? That's where it began? Who would have guessed that? That never in a million years would that have been my guess of why did we start eating? Why is this National Waffle Day? God, I do love waffles. Chicken and waffles are delightful.
Savory waffles are fantastic.
I mean, waffles deliver 100% of the time.
There you go.
Swedish waffle. I mean, you can find some good Swedish kind of different versions of it, and Swedish waffles and all that. So
hopefully something's open for brunch today.
Let's go eat some waffles after the show.
Waffles.
Okay, your number, Jason Swigard.
Yes.
As I got done compiling my math statistics. 6075.
6,075.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it the total combined hits from Barry Bonds, Aaron Judge, and Buster Posey to this point of Aaron Judge's career? Obviously, Posey and Bonds are done.
Ooh.
Total combined hits between the three of them. Or is it $60.75, the price of the legitimate 999 challenge that will take place all season long, but the deal on a Thirsty Thursday for 9 full-size beers, 9 full-size dogs, courtesy of our friends, the Amarillo Sod Poodles.
Very familiar with the Sod Poodles. That is the AA team for the Diamondbacks. That when the Hops get called up, that's where they go.
I want a Sod Poodle hat.
Their stuff's great.
I need to buy one.
I think we should have
$60.75 or 6,075 combined hits.
I think they combined have more hits than that. It may not be much more.
Okay.
But Barry's around 3,000, if not a bit more. I know he doesn't have as many as people think because he got walked a billion times in the last 6 years of his career.
Yes.
When he would get one swing, basically, in 4 at-bats, and it would go 800 miles on the juice.
Yes.
And then he would be intentionally walked
Nobody would throw
3
it
other at-bats.
The rest of the series?
Exactly.
Okay.
But I'm going to say this is a story.
Okay, we're going to go story. Your answer is... Yes. Correctamundo. Now, Dirt Logic for you, slightly less hits for the three combined.
Okay.
5,640.
Well, I know Posey didn't play as long as people think he played.
Yes, here are your numbers. Bonds, 2,935.
He was just shy of 3,000.
Just shy of 3,000, and nobody would pitch to him, and then he got blackballed from the sport.
I thought Judge had more.
1,205 for Aaron Judge.
I thought he was closer to 1,500.
You would have guessed it, right? And ironically, Buster Posey, on the dot.
1,000?
1,500 hits.
Oh, wow.
On the dot.
Okay.
He got halfway there and said, you know what? I'm done. That's
there you
enough. I'm out. So that's your combined hits for the three guys. No, you are correct. It is $60.75.
Excellent.
Now, this is not the deal for every game. It's a little bit more expensive for non-Thursday games.
Yes.
This is a Thirsty Thursday special.
Love Thirsty Thursday.
So our friend, we talked about this earlier this week. The baseball teams are announcing the 999 challenge.
Yeah, but
it's BS. It's fake.
Shot glasses of beer and mini dogs.
Somebody actually had
you have to buy it all at once.
Yes.
Stop it with that nonsense.
Somebody bought it at a ballpark, and they basically talked about how it went and what it looked like. They gave you a box with 9 cups, 9 glasses, and it came with one extra large, like 24-ounce Coors Light can. And you pour it into eat, and it's like 2-3. I mean, it's nothing, right? It's ridiculous. And then the hot dogs are sitting out all day. So our friends at the Amarillo Sod Poodles saw this and said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa."
No.
And they released a statement and said,
You're
yesterday,
do this properly. Do it properly.
We're doing it right. We were shown imagery of social media of several MLB teams selling a pre-packed 999 challenge. After careful review and consideration, we, as an organization, have decided not to acknowledge this as the true 999 challenge. We decided to take matters into our own hands, and that they have done. They are featuring the 999 challenge.
Yep.
Any day of the week, you can get it for $90. Okay. Full-size beers, full-size hot dogs. So
That's
you go to
actually a pretty it's still a good deal.
I mean, how much is one hot dog and one beer costing?
So
you?
normally hot dogs are just a simple hot dog, $4 or $5.
Yeah,
maybe
and the beer is going to cost you $7 or $8. Right?
So let's say average $5.
That's still a good deal.
That's $45 for dogs.
Even if you didn't want to do this and you went with a group, it's still a great deal because you go with the group. Like you got 6 guys.
You got
and you just
two of you.
Here's $90. Everybody puts in $20.
You're doing the couples challenge.
Boom.
Say you go with Michelle. She's probably having 3 and 3. You're doing 6 and 6.
That'd probably be more like 8.5 to 1.5, but to each their own. I think I'd have to do the majority of the heavy lifting.
Probably
there.
more with the dogs than the beers.
So you do a little more damage on the
beers
dogs.
Are going to be split close to even.
Yeah. And on Thursdays, they're going to sell it for $60.75. 9 full-size beers, 9 full-size hot dogs. And I now want a road trip to Amarillo.
We should take a show road trip. I think it'd be great. We go there to minor league. We can go find, I don't know how far Salome is. See if we can go find the driving range from Tin Cup.
Yeah, that would be really funny.
And maybe find the golf course or the country club where they had the qualifier at.
Yeah. I don't really know what their mascot is. Is it a camel?
No, it's a sod poodle. It's a dog.
Oh, okay. That's a kind of dog. A sod poodle is a dog.
Well, it's a play on prairie dogs are big out there.
Okay, I would assume so.
So obviously sod, they're playing on grass. So I think it's a play on the prairie dog, but they call them the sod poodles.
Got it. Okay. I've now gone to their merch store and I'm looking at their hats.
Oh, it's quality gear.
It's a really good. I mean, their hats are just.
Yeah.
There's one where he's he's got his holster on. He's getting ready to draw. Look, if I show up with a random
and that ballpark is
hat,
a bandbox.
Our
guys, the old park, it was tough to hit home runs out of.
Dingers on top of dingers.
Now, we'll have to see about the new ballpark.
Yeah, you got a new one opening.
Because we're going the opposite direction. You're hitting it towards Sunset Highway.
Aha.
So I don't know if that changes things. The sun won't be in anybody's eyes anymore, so that'll help.
That's a fun summertime.
We should get somebody. Maybe the tourism department of Amarillo's got some money.
Yeah, bring somebody on. Send us down there for a weekend.
We'll come down.
A fun non-season segment, like end of June, July, like somewhere in the middle.
Yes,
would just be a run through the best minor league mascot logo.
The Trash Pandas are up there.
Sod Poodles is great.
The Birmingham Biscuits are up there.
I mean, our pickles are very famous.
Yes.
People like the pickle. Hops as well for people who are beer drinkers,
Hops
right?
Gear sells.
I love the creativity of minor league team names. And shout out to the Sod Poodles, real American heroes, saying we will not let this travesty stand. 9 full-size beers, 9 full-size dogs. Let's get to our MLB picks, their status story, every Wednesday at 9:15, brought to you by our wonderful friends Pioneer Heating and Cooling, locally owned and championship service since 1977. We did make our picks earlier. We will make them next. Who did Sprague pick via the listeners? We'll let you know on that if you're just tuning into the show, as baseball is upon us, and we'll do that next. But first, here's us with a update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Brought to you by Reynolds Defense Firm. If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys you can put your trust in. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on the Fame. No, it's not. We're not a football state. We're not a basketball state. This is a baseball state.
Baseball school now. Oregon's a baseball school.
And the Ducks are ranked in most of the polls. Oregon with a one-hitter last night, 6-0 shutout of UC San Diego. The Tritons, they're back at it today, 2:45 over on 910. And the Beavers hammered USC. 4-4, I think, was the final there. And so they will continue. They will meet in a single game at the new Hop Stadium, April 14th.
The day of the Jailblazer doc release.
So
we
there
got
you go.
that and Ducks and
not
Beavers.
Not sure if it's a sellout yet, but come join us out there.
Go get your tickets. I meant to get to this earlier. I forgot to, so I'll slip it in here. The Falcons made a move yesterday that makes sense, but it has everybody terrified. Largely the number one pick in a lot of fantasy football drafts is Bijan Robinson.
Yes.
What are the acronym there when you draft him? B. Robinson, Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
The Atlanta Falcons have signed veteran running back Brian Robinson.
Oh.
So you will have two
doubling up
B. Robinson Atlanta Falcon running backs. And mark my words, somebody come fantasy draft time will accidentally draft the wrong guy. B. Robinson and be screwed for the year.
All right. More college baseball and fantasy football stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday with
Hey, good play here. Sun will go down on the bay tonight. Giants
That's right.
and Yankees.
It'll be gorgeous. You got your
we got
kayak.
Journey performing live from AT&T Park. Is it still AT&T? I forget what my baseball stadium is now. Is it Oracle? I think it's Oracle Park now.
It's Oracle.
There's some that will always be like it'll always be the Rose Garden. It'll always be Safeco. Get out of here, Pink. T-Mobile.
T-Mobile's been there for like 5 years.
I don't care. I got no issue with T-Mobile either. It's Safeco to me. Staples Center in L.A. What's that one now?
Crypto.com.
Get the hell out of here. That's always going to be Staples.
Oracle Park in San Francisco.
Oracle owns everything down there. It's that bastard who's buying up all
Larry
the media.
Ellison, is that him?
Oh, yeah. He owns every news channel near you now. He is the news now. Welcome to America. Let's get to our picks. So a quick reminder, we're doing this as a bit against Sprague for the middle of the summer.
Yes.
So we're going to hold it.
Don't spoil it.
And his official division winners.
There we go.
Now, I don't have an ALCS, NLCS, and World Series. Let's not do ALCS, NLCS. We'll just do World Series.
Yeah.
That's easier. So I need a suggestion on what his World Series matchup should be. So fire away if you would like, listeners, if somebody would text, but it has to come from this batch of teams.
Here we go.
Or potential wildcards. He's taking the Giants to win the NL West.
Yes.
The Pirates to win the NL Central.
Of course.
He has to take his Braves to win the NL East.
He will take his Braves.
He's taking the Mariners to win the AL West.
Yes.
The White Sox to win the AL Central.
Oh, big rally.
Big rally this year. This is their year. They're due for breakout year. And his beloved New York Yankees to win the AL East. So I need a matchup of the World Series. First one that gets texted in will be his World Series pick. Jason Swigard, care to follow that division by division? Start NL West and kind of go from there?
The NL West, it will be the Dodgers.
Yeah, of course. Not the evil empire.
They're not. We're just rich. We're not evil. I want T-shirts.
How many rich people are not evil?
I think more than we think.
Like, there's a story out there today about Tom Dundon.
The question is what do you define as, where is your threshold for rich?
Evil's a strong phrase, too. Like, you could be a shady person, but you're not evil's a different description. Like, there's a story out there about Tom Dundon and some of the business practices that he's had in his past, and somebody texted in about it, and I'm just like...
Nobody gets to that level of
a billionaire.
Wealth and business success.
Right.
Being squeaky clean.
No, it just doesn't happen. Also, are we going to... if somebody grabs onto that and that becomes a key issue for them with Tom Dundon, I would just immediately point to them and say, do you realize who's owned the team for the last decade?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to go
or who's run or who's been responsible.
You want to go over allegations from bodyguards and penguin bones, and we want to go back over that?
Yeah,
no? Okay.
We don't want to SEAls in the hot tub.
All right, don't want to discuss that. Got it. All right, Dodgers, NL West.
The Dodgers.
NL Central.
NL Central. I am going to go with the Cubs.
Cubbies to win the Central. Okay.
I think that they, I don't think they're gonna. The Brewers can't keep doing it forever because they can
do it in the regular season. They just can't do it in the playoffs.
Well,
that's the tough part for them.
But I think the Cubs will get over this year.
Okay.
The NL East.
NL East. Who do we got?
The last stand for the Phillies.
This is it. One last
run. Everybody stays together, and they've kept the starting rotation together. I think health will be on their side this year.
AL West?
The AL West, no, the Mariners. The Mariners get it done this year.
How disappointing would that be if they didn't win the division?
Well, welcome to being a Mariners fan. Sorry.
Are they going to be okay if they blow another Game 7 lead this year?
They won't.
No, that won't go.
That
might break them. Is that a breaking point emotionally?
That's
Game
when
7,
like,
go ahead, home run
how
again?
long before Sonics Game 1?
Let's move on. Yeah. At least you have your starting quarterback in one. I don't know. Well, you do have the Seahawks. They just won a Super Bowl, so you got.
No, you hit the
for
transfer portal for your quarterback.
That you did.
Life's good.
You wouldn't have had it an upgrade.
The Tigers should run away with the AL Central.
Run away with it. We're not a believer in the Royals this year.
15 games.
Whoa, no. AJ Hinch. Okay.
Sorry there, P. Harris, with your Guardians.
All right, AL East.
The Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. The Toronto. Who did they win the division last year?
No, I thought the Yankees.
Were they a wild card in the Yankees?
Or they might have. I can't remember.
I don't know, dude.
They might have had it was real. It was down to the final weekend.
I remember it being a fun division.
They might
have.
Yeah, because they hosted Game 7. They had a better record than the Doyers.
Yeah, but that's just win. That doesn't have to do with division, right? That's just win-loss. And the Dodgers weren't quite
I think they finished a game ahead, or maybe it was a tie and they had the tiebreaker.
Okay. All righty. I'm going to go divisions quickly. Giants, I got to take a team to win the division, and I know it's not going to happen. Don't bet on it. I am going to take the Brewers in the NL Central. I'm a believer in their pitching staff. The Miz is back for another year. He should dominate. Right. Look, they're going to choke in the playoffs because they usually choke in the playoffs, but I'm going to take them. Call me an idiot because I am an idiot. I'm going to believe in the Mets putting it all together this year and staying healthy. And Juan Soto, I laugh away. I, too, will take the Mariners to win the AL West. I understand the argument for the Tigers in the AL Central. Bobby Witt's a sexy thing right now, and I like what Kansas City's done. I think they're an up-and-coming team.
I just don't know that they have enough top-to-bottom rotation bullpen lineup every day to win 95 games.
Probably not. How long until Screwball wants to fight everybody in his front office because he hates being a Detroit Tiger, and does that derail their season? I'll take the Royals in the AL Central, and then I will take the Blue Jays in the American League East. Your World Series prediction, Jason Swigard?
We get a rematch. Doyers and Blue Jays one more time.
That would suck. I got to be honest with you.
The
Toronto
ratings,
is cool.
I think, would go.
Oh,
through
the ratings
roof.
are massive. For everybody else, it would be great. I'm not a big rematch guy. And I'm assuming Dodgers over the Blue Jays.
Hell yeah,
3 in a row.
All
right.
Figure out what to do with all my empty champagne bottles. I got 3 of them now.
I know they're piling up for you.
I know.
Not the evil empire.
I wasn't old enough in the 80s there.
I like going out on a limb on my baseball picks. This usually leads to bad things happening. I think I had the O's and the Phillies last year, if I remember correctly.
I don't want to jinx the Mariners, so I'm not picking the Mariners because I don't want to be.
I could jokingly.
I don't want to be the reason.
That's a win-win situation for me because if I pick them and they win, I get to say, "See, I told you so," and if they don't, I get to laugh at them.
Yes.
Which is always enjoyable. That's a win-win solution for me. I'm going to go one of the teams from the World Series gets back this year. I cannot, in good conscience, pick your evil empire to win anything. I am going to take the Brewers to win the World Series over the Toronto Blue Jays. There is your World Series pick from me. Let's see if we got quickly. Where did it go?
I think we need to make him pick the Mariners.
Make him pick the Mariners?
And then when they choke, we can blame it on him.
Okay, I got one right here. We have Mariners over Braves.
There you go. Oh, God.
Well done. Well done. There are your baseball picks. The season begins tonight. Not really. It's stupid that there's only one game. I mean, I'm excited to watch my team play, but it's dumb that there's only one game on tonight. And it's on Netflix. We'll see how it goes. Thing from Wednesday Addams is going to be somehow involved in the first pitch. I got Hunter Pence on the call, reportedly. I'm not the biggest Hunter Pence broadcasting guy. And Jameis Winston will be on your TV. Why? I don't know. But
it's going to be interesting.
He's going to be there.
Do you know when the pregame, how early they're starting with stuff?
I would imagine the game starts at 5, right?
Are they going just a half hour? Or are they starting at at
my guess where they're going to make a big deal
something?
out of it. I bet it's at least an hour. My guess would be 4 o'clock, but don't take my word for that. Let's put a bow on the show. We'll wrap things up on a Wednesday next. 105.1 FM The Fan. All right, welcome back in. Last one for us today. Happy hump day, everybody. The week's flying by, man. It's just flying on by.
I know.
The firm of Harrison Moran getting ready to get going here today, 8 minutes from now. And yeah, man, look, I'm excited to watch baseball tonight. My team's going to be on TV. If you don't want to watch, I don't blame you. I said earlier.
The weather sounds like it's going to be perfect spring weather.
Here or in San Francisco?
In San Francisco.
Okay.
Well, here too.
Yeah, it looks like we got a nice day out there today. Every time
the rain came and went
man,
yesterday, and then it cleared up in the evening, and it was chilly this morning. Which
it was
means
a little chilly.
Cleared out. We shouldn't have too many clouds, so good for that. But no, I think like 63 at first pitch. The wind is supposedly blowing out.
Ooh.
So
you telling me to bet the over here?
You might get some splashdowns.
Okay, I want to give a quick reminder because I talked about this on the show yesterday.
Place your bet for tomorrow.
The bet needs to be made because this is going to he's not playing today, but tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
On opening day.
12:05.
12:05 first pitch.
The
Tyler
Orioles
O'Neill.
host the Twins.
He plays for the Baltimore Orioles. It is, I think, roughly. Let me double check what the odds are right now. I just want to get a little last piece. Like, we can bring this up on the show tomorrow, but I just want to make sure everybody gets the PSA out there.
He's plus 316.
To hit a home run, plus 316.
Hit a home run.
Okay, Tyler O'Neill has hit a home run on 6 consecutive opening days. 6 consecutive years. He has hit a home run on opening day. He plays for the Baltimore Orioles. All you got to do is go find their game against the Twins.
Now,
and
this is one you want to follow
props.
on Twitter and find out when they post the starting lineups because the Orioles they are dinged up.
Yes.
So there's a good chance he will be in the starting lineup because I don't think he's going to be a regular starter.
No, he only hit 9 home runs last year. But if you have a guy that's hit 6 in a row on opening day, that should be contractually mandated that he has to be in the opening day lineup. You can't let this thing come to an end.
Yeah.
Come on.
He should be at least DH.
Who's the manager of the O's? Does anybody have any idea? Can you name that guy?
I don't know who that is.
No idea either. Speaking of which, I did get a funny chuckle. So Patrick was in here during a break, and I had noticed an email, and it's a PSA. Joe Fisher sent out a company email saying he brought cookies in for everybody.
I tried one.
All right, what's the review?
It needs some more wet ingredient. The flavor's actually good.
Okay. He said it was a little hockey puckish.
Flavor is good.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know if we need some more butter.
Careful for a loose tooth. You might leave one in the cookie.
Something. Well, I had it. I dunked it in the coffee. And it was good. It was good because he got the right balance. Could have used a little bit more chocolate chips, at least in my cookie. Now, sometimes it's random. But he got the salt in there.
Okay.
Salt very important in chocolate chip cookies.
I've never made chocolate chip cookies before.
Yes. You need to have that dash of salt.
I don't do a lot of bacon. That's not really my MO. The wife loves bacon. I'm not a big bacon guy, you know? I like eating bacon. I just don't like baking, you know?
Baking. Yes. Baking is scientific.
Well, hopefully my team wins tonight and the dream of 162 is alive and well. I get to make
Blazers,
fun of my
Bucks,
Yankee fans in
Portland,
the office.
12.5-point favorites.
I got to be honest with you. Nobody cares.
The only interesting thing is if you get any more fallout from the Giannis versus the Bucks.
Is he playing tonight? Because he's fighting to play, saying he's healthy. If he's in the lineup, I'll watch the game. If he's not playing, I'm not touching that game.
See if I can get a quick.
The Blazers can sleepwalk through it and be up by 18 at halftime at home, and they will do that.
Injury report. Latest report. Scroll down, scrolling. Anthony Antetokounmpo is listed as out.
Out. Not even questionable, not even doubtful, not even game time decision.
Out.
Just out. So, congrats on another 20-point win for the Blazers tonight, beating up on a team that's purposely trying to lose games. That will do it for us, folks. Fun little show, man. Jackson Showstad transfers. There's a lot of people asking questions about Oregon basketball. We had some Jailblazer conversation about the documentary. It was fun. Baseball's back. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, everybody, for watching on YouTube. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. We'll try and figure out the rewind feature coming up on the show tomorrow and for the rest of the day. That will do it for us. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6 a.m. The firm of Harrison Moran is next. Listen to 105.1 FM The Fan.